Welcome, everyone, to the St. Louis Arena in St. Louis, Missouri for this battle of expansion teams. You've got the home team, St. Louis Storm, currently in second place in the MISL's Western Division, trying to avoid a late-season surge by the rising San Diego Sockers. And in the Eastern Division, you have the Cleveland Crunch trying for that final playoff spot. They helped themselves last night with a big 7-6 overtime win last night in Wichita. Pleasant good evening, everyone. I'm John Paul Della Camera, along with Ty Keogh. We're familiar faces to you, but we have some new faces for the Cleveland audience. New in the form of two players that have just come over in recent trades. I like the deals that brought Zoran Karic and Dave Hagen to Cleveland.
Zoran Karic and Dave Hagen, a new look to the Cleveland Crunch attack when you talk about Hector Marinaro also coming back. But these guys, excellent trades, I think, for the Crunch. They have 15 games remaining, trying to make a run during this last stretch of the season to try and make the playoffs. These are the kind of players that are going to help do it for them. You've got Dave Hagen, who's so good going at people and attacking and going to goal. And you've got Zoran Karic, who's a little bit different because he plays so well with his back to the goal. Players can feed the ball into him. He can hold it, he can dish it off, but he can also turn and score.
And now you're going to see two excellent lines for the Cleveland Crunch on any night, assuming, of course, that everyone is healthy. And speaking of healthy, you think Hector Marinaro is healthy now? The Crunch are hoping so because they were 0-5 when he was out, and he just scored 3 last night, including the game winner in his first game back.
Well, you can see how much that they really did miss him. He brings an extra added unpredictableness to their forward line because he can score in different ways, and he's also going to combine very well, as we said, with Zoran Karic, with Dave Hagen, with Kai Hoskevy, and it has been a missing element in the team.
Well, defensively, Cleveland went without Bernie James last night. They have several players injured. Tonight's the kind of game where they could probably use Bernie because there are so many players to watch. St. Louis has a lot of good offensive players.
St. Louis is a talented group of players. It is an expansion team, but Don Popovic has assembled some very good scoring players. And when you talk about Stan Terlecki, who's a proven scorer in this league, you've got Gary Heel here. You've got Thompson Usean, who was the Offensive Player of the Week in the MISL last week. So there's plenty to deal with in terms of the St. Louis Storm.
It's a battle of expansion teams, and we'll bring the game to you next from St. Louis.
Everyone knows about my expansive vocabulary and the delineations I take with language. I went to electrocution school. So when I say the wrong thing at the right time, it's funny, but only because I'm in control. But if you're drinking and you start talking like me, then it's a good inclination that you're not in control, and that's not funny. You see, responsible drinking is as easy as knowing when to say the right thing at the right time, to know when to say when. And hey, even I could say that.
A reminder from Budweiser.
Hi, this is Pete McDonald inviting you to join me right here each week on Great Lakes Boater.
Joust believes to each according to his needs, from each according to his...
That sounds a little like Karl Marx. But...
Oh, just a touch. Is that real zebra skin? No, this.
I'll tell you right after.
Okay.
Tell you exactly where I got it from. It's a tremendous story.
Hey, all the slobs aren't quarterbacks. There are some slob reporters, too.
If you'll excuse me, fellas, I have to blow my nose.
Yeah, blow your nose. See if you hit him right between the eyes and see if that doesn't...
Dennis Rodman smiles through... He smiles when some guy kicks him in the groin.
Get to know one of the best teams in college basketball. Digger Phelps helps you keep pace with Notre Dame, introducing you to the team and taking you on the hardwood for every matchup. The Digger Phelps Show, Mondays at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, exclusively on Sports Channel America. Watch some of the best soccer players compete in one of the oldest soccer leagues in the world. Direct from Great Britain, it's English League Soccer. Rugged and exciting action every week on English League Soccer, only on Sports Channel America. Check your TV listings for days and times.
Welcome back, everyone, to the St. Louis Arena. We are just about set for action between the Cleveland Crunch and the St. Louis Storm. There's P.J. Johns in goal. He comes in with a 12-12 mark. Those are his updated stats at 3.77 the goals against average. The ageless wonder, Slovo, he's 40 years old, but those numbers tell you that he's a lot younger. And right now, he's their only goalkeeper with David Bursick injured. They're using Bill Cowley, a local player, on a limited contract. He'll fill in if something were to happen to Slovo. On the action now, Michael King, who gets the start here for Cleveland, on with Marinaro and Sweeney, Dargle, and Meppel. This is Clavijo, one of the top defenders in the MISL, to Usean. And now McAllis works it on. Bernie James out with a thigh contusion. Bobo Lukic is out. Sean Phillips, Simon Keith are all out. Injuries on the other side. Godfrey Ingram, David Bursick. Gary Hill expected to play, although he has a pulled left hamstring. He has practiced this week. Here's Mepham in the opening minute of play. Watched by Usean, the MISL's Offensive Player of the Week this past week. And a foul right away as Karic is tested by Fredrickson. Karic has just come on, so Cleveland may be going with a quick line change. Up the right wing, Marinaro on the cut, back on the right foot. The shot is saved by Slobo and cleared around the boards to De Oliveira. Usean running into space. Johns was going to come out. Off the boards, open man. Terlecki will score for St. Louis.
We saw the Cleveland Crunch go for a quick line change early on, and that's really a question of having played just 24 hours ago last night, that big overtime win in Wichita, and I think that's the same result here. They're still not found their game legs. We see Usean chase the ball down to the corner. He's got a lot of time here to deal with things. He gets it in and around Dargle. Mepham's not quite back, and Terlecki's a good marksman. When he gets that much net to shoot at, he's going to put it away, and that looked like a gift-wrapped Christmas present to him.
Well, that's Terlecki's 17th goal of the year. He has scored a bunch of them in his MISL career. Usean has the assist on it. So it's 1-0. Crunch are trailing here very early. Last night they staked themselves out to a 3-0 lead. Ball played up for Leite, knocked away from him. Dave Hagen out for his first turn now with a crunch. Kulsdom is at the back along with Drew Ferguson, the line of Hoskeby, King, and Hagen. Hoskeby had 3 last night. Duran, who's playing defense this year. Normally, he's been a midfielder for several years with the Steamers, and then last year with LA. All the way back to Dev Reeves. Reeves up the left side. I think I had said Kulsdom at the back before. It is Dev Reeves. Kulsdom just back in action last night after missing several games. It'll be good to get him back into the lineup and into the swing of things. Here's Duran, right across to Eyes. Number 18 for St. Louis. David Eyes with a pass for Leite. Tied up by Reeves. Leite has the good left foot, gives it up. Dragicevic collides into the boards with Ferguson, who's not all that happy about that.
Ferguson's always been a tough character. He's not going to take much of that, and when you think about it, he's a defender. He's going to have more chances for the payback than the other way around, so you don't necessarily want to try those kind of things against a guy like Ferguson.
Michael King. He's been hot his last 20 games. He scored 19 goals. That's since the start of January. Hoskeby looking for King, the Crunch top scorer this year. Instead, it's Hagen. Hagen tried to leave it. Leite blocked it. Leite and Hagen were teammates in Pittsburgh. Pass intended for Hagen. Now King got a crack at it. This is Leite moving it for Dragicevic. Trying to get around Dennis Mepham. And Dragicevic fouled him.
King is actually 3rd in the league in points, tied with Preki from Tacoma. He's also 3rd in the league in goals. So during this spell where Cleveland was having some problems scoring goals with Hector Marinaro out and Kai Hoskeby not at full strength, it was really King carrying a lot of the weight.
Made the All-Star team this year. So did several members of the Crunch. Marinaro trying to slot it through for Karic, but Duran was right there. Ilievsky giving it up to McAllis. Slobo played in the All-Star game this past year at the age of 40. Duran up the right side for Gary Hill. His first game back after missing a few with that hamstring injury. Duran in midfield. Looking for Hill. Cruncher down 1-0 early. 11:26 to go. Here in the first half, a lead pass from Sweeney will find Karic one-on-one against McAllis. Tees it up in the left foot. It was blocked partially by McAllis and then Slobo. Sweeney will keep it alive. Blocked by Usean. Usean taken down by Sweeney as he went in for the tackle, and Usean didn't like that. S.C. Baharmas coming over. A reminder that this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of Summit Soccer Associates Incorporated and is intended for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or the use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Summit Soccer Associates Incorporated and Sports Channel Ohio is prohibited. Heel off the boards for Usean. Trying to slot it through. Broken up and outplayed right back to P.J. Johns by Sweeney. On the left side, it's Benny Dargle. Dargle and Mepham, a staple at the back there for Cleveland, as they were for the Cleveland Force back a few years ago. Knocked ahead, there's Frederickson breaking it up for Clavijo. Now to Gary Hill. Hoskovy putting some pressure on. Frederickson with a pass. Some high pressure now by the Crunch. Beaten by the De Oliveira pass for Collins. Around the boards, but Johns has no trouble with that.
De Oliveira, one of the newcomers to the league, but showing there some of the vision that he does have. He's an excellent distributor of the ball, and he's one that always seems to have an option, even when he's under heavy pressure.
Might very well be the newcomer of the year this year in the MISL. A lot of people around the league are talking about him. Ferguson trying to reverse it. Blocked by 2 Storm players. 10 minutes to go. First half, 1-0. St. Louis on a Terlecki goal at 1:08 from Usean. This is Gary Heel. Leading it in for Collins. Blocked by Hagen and then headed back nicely by Reeves. Here's a long throw out. They'll find Karic. Cuts it to the inside, but De Oliveira with great support.
With the qualities of Zoran Karic, we're seeing a setup where the Cleveland Crunch are leaving him as the lone man up, and they've got Davey Hagen and Kai Hoskovy, who like to work out of the midfield, making their attacks from further back.
Now, he was the leading scorer, goal scorer at the time when he was traded from San Diego, but I think he's going to be more a part of the offense here with Cleveland. I think they're going to play a lot more to him than in San Diego, where the focus has to be on Segota first. Reeves up now to Sweeney. Near midfield, he'll play it up for Karic and then right back. Sweeney, a member of Canada's World Cup team in 1986, a former Minnesota striker, played last year in Baltimore. Now to Hagen. Hagen, off a deflection. Ferguson will find it. In the corner, Ferguson battling with Collins. Wanted to poke it out to Hagen, but Duran steps into it. Up for Terlecki, wearing a heavily bandaged, or is heavily bandaged on the left side. Here's Terlecki's pass, looking for Daniel Donegan, the rookie from the University of Connecticut, to Duran. Sweeney muscling him out to Terlecki. On the back heel to Donegan. Against Ferguson. Again, it's Terlecki. There's that experience, and I tell you, if Reeves doesn't block that, that might be 2-0. That's one of Terlecki's all-time favorite moves.
And he gets it off quickly. That shot moving very fast off his foot.
Played across. It was blocked. St. Louis looking for another crack. They almost got one with eyes. Now it's Reeves in trouble. Ferguson lifting it ahead. Wanted Karic. There's Clavijo, but he pushed off. And a quick restart. They're blowing the whistle back. Well, it went the other way, apparently. I thought the foul had been on Clavijo. Here's Clavijo. A left footer. It was blocked by Ferguson. Right back to Dragicevic. Great save. P.J. Johns off the left hand. That's a big one.
It's a very important save at this point because the Crunch still looking like they're trying to find their way. Their legs are not fresh. They played last night. It's going to take them a while. Meanwhile, the St. Louis team continues to apply pressure.
And the Storm just coming off 6 games in 11 days, but after coming back from San Diego Tuesday, they had off Wednesday, although it was a travel day, Thursday, and then today. So they're the fresher. Here's Terlecki. A shot up too high. Not by much did that one miss. Here's a pass all the way across off Bocalis. And he'll send it back to Slovo Ilyievsky with 7:20 to go in the opening quarter. Storm are leading it 1-0 over the Cleveland Crunch. Terlecki's goal, if you missed out, at 1:08 from UC. And this is Leite against Sweeney. Knocked it back to Daryl Duran. To Donegan. Donegan getting a lot of playing time early in this one, perhaps because Heel is still bothered by the hamstring problem. Now Terry Brown broken up. Leite followed through. Broken up by Sweeney. Good defensive work by Mike Sweeney. Up for Marinaro. Let it go on a nice quick touch for King. They could have a break. Diving play by Duran. Tripped up King, but he got the ball. Leite heads it down for Duran.
He got the ball, but he also got the man. That's still a foul in my book because he followed through in order to get King.
Clavijo coming back now for Mark Frederickson. Just off an ankle injury. In for Leite. He tried to touch that off. He had a little room to turn himself. Johns with a pass upfield for Michael King. King, who played collegiately at Fairleigh Dickinson, gives it up for Hagen on the right. Usean will match up with Hagen. Set back for Dennis Mepham to Hoskovy. Kai, 3 goals, 1 assist last night. Looking for more tonight. Intended for Mepham, but that's broken up. Usean will take it back. Less than 6 minutes to go. An awfully fast-moving opening quarter play from St. Louis. I don't think that ball has gone out of play yet. Here's De Oliveira. Hagen giving him a little room for Usean. A shot through the legs of Dargo, but Johns sees that all the way.
Nice work by Johns because he has to be alert to that possibility.
A roadblock in the form of Daryl Durant running into Karic. So here comes Durant. He's got players right and left. Cuts it to Gary Hill. Hill looking, lost it. On the block from Reeves, Hill tripped him. A look at Gary Hill, who is one of 5 Storm players to average better than a point per game in their MISL careers. Hoskeby looking long. Karic looking to make his move. Karic good on the turn with either foot. That time has no room to turn. Played out to Mepham. Cleveland fans are really going to like Karic as well as Hagen. And they gave up 2 good players in those trades to get them, but you have to give up someone to get someone. And Marhenik and Wright will probably help their teams as well.
And I think really Paul Wright still was a question of his potential. He's not necessarily of a stature of a Zoran Karic or a Dave Hagen as of yet.
But he's 23 years old, and San Diego liked that. Plus, he trained with San Diego. They never liked to lose him in that draft, and they got him back.
The Cleveland Crunch really couldn't afford to wait maybe for him to develop.
Here's Karic, who has already developed into one of the MISL's top scorers. Out to Dargle. Back for Karic. Karic was a great buy. San Diego signed him as a free agent from Yugoslavia, and I know they didn't pay much the first year. Here's Hoskeby over the line, setting it in, knocked away by Slovo, not out of danger. Hagen right across, and Karic never expected it, or at least he didn't look like he did. He fanned. Lead pass, Usean can fly. Dargle coming back, tackled it away. The crowd wanted a penalty, and so did Usean. Dargle got the ball, but that looked like the same thing that you had complained about earlier. So they let it go once each way.
That's one you'll see called more often, particularly because it was so close to the boards.
And he had a chance to score had he gotten around. Mepham and Collins. Collins doing some holding.
I like that pass, though, by Hagen just a moment ago as he tried to pick out Karic at the top of the box.
King. Slovo let it go far post, but there was no one home. And now it's Michael Collins. Taken away by King. Here's a chance for the Crunch with some numbers. The pass slow to get to Marinaro, and he couldn't do much with it. Unfortunate for Cleveland.
But that pass is a bit more crisp than Marinaro's pass over to Sweeney has more on it as well. But because it was slowed up with that topspin, Ilievsky very easily was able to get back into position.
And that's where you might see Hector struggle a bit. He told me before the game he has trouble planting on that left foot when he has to shoot with the right. And there he really had to plant in a hurry because the pass wasn't there. He'll score some goals though off the right foot, but that I think was a case where it did bother him. Here's some more numbers for the Crunch as King took it away. That's Michael's second strong defensive play of the day. Marinaro was open and he misfired off the left foot. Terlecki back there for St. Louis, but you've got to like the way the Crunch have come up last 2 times up the field. But Hoskeby wants some goals for him because they know that St. Louis can score some. Here's Dragicevic from Terlecki. That should have been one. Terlecki set the table, but Dragicevic couldn't finish the meal. Right side, Karic from Marinaro. On the cut, he stops well. The shot was deflected, and finally a ball goes out of play. With 2:40 to go in the first quarter of play, we have our first official timeout. On a Terlecki goal, St. Louis leads 1-0.
Facsimile. Again, technology is revolutionizing our business environment. Today, information can be delivered within seconds at a cost you can finally afford. Canex, Cleveland's oldest Canon facsimile dealer, can put the power of facsimile to work for you with the plain paper fully featured laser-driven Fax L920, the plain paper Fax 350, or the personal Fax 120. Have Canex put the power of Canon facsimile in your hands. Call Canex for your free demonstration.
Welcome back, everyone. It's a 1-0 lead for the St. Louis Storm. Stan Terlecki's 17th of the year early at 1 away from Thompson UC, and that's the only goal thus far. Cleveland has had a couple of chances, and you got to like the way they've come up the floor the last couple of times, but they have come up empty.
Well, they just look more confident than they have just a few weeks ago with these new players in the lineup. I think there's a new attitude in the team. There's a little more experience in the team than there was in the past. So they're coming out. I think the first goal was directly attributable to the fact that they played last night. I think now they're getting a rhythm.
The legs are coming back, aren't they? Want to remind everyone that Sports Channel Ohio is the home of the Ohio High School Girls Championships. Tomorrow you can watch exciting live coverage of Division III at 11 a.m., Division II at 2. That makes sense, doesn't it? Division I at 6 and Division IV at 9. I'm not sure about the rest of that. The Ohio High School State Finals, and it will be live here on Sports Channel Ohio. We are set for the corner kick coming up to the left of Slovo Ilievsky. At the start of the year, they thought he would be the #2 goalkeeper, not play much. It's not been that way. It comes straight out to Marinaro, and he just shot it too high. Ferguson. Now to Karic. Into the corner, and Donegan will get it.
Karic actually saw the black on the official shirt, and there's enough similarity between that and the Crunch uniforms that I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often.
Reeves. Now Hoskeby was going to get it. Terlecki with a pass, and that's broken up. Here's Ferguson. 2:15 to go. A lot of room here for Ferguson. Still in the first quarter, he gave it away to Durant. Now it's Terlecki. Stan Terlecki trying to come back. Tripped up. Foul is going to be called on Reeves. I don't know what happened with Stan, but I know as late as yesterday in practice with the Storm, he was not wearing any bandage. But he's got one now on the left side. Here's Marinaro coming right back. 2-on-3, but Marinaro's ahead. Played it across, and Karic missed. That's a great pass from Marinaro.
Fantastic play as he drew the defenders the one way, cut the ball across the other way. Karic just a little bit off target.
Marinaro looks like a guy that said, hey, I missed 5 games. I can't wait to get back out there and play. 3 goals last night, and he's buzzing all over the field tonight. De Oliveira for St. Louis. He got by, and P.J. Johns was there. And De Oliveira might have got him with a foot. P.J. got a massage out of it, though. A little scalp treatment there from De Oliveira.
De Oliveira lost his balance as he was sliding and came into P.J. Johns.
Here's Hagen looking for King, not on the money. Hagen, you've got to think, would be a little bit rusty, but he's very anxious to play. He missed 30 days with Tacoma when he was suspended. And you can practice all you want, train by yourself all you want. It's not the same. And you're away from game competition as well. There's De Oliveira again near midfield. We have less than a minute to go. First quarter. Crunch are down 1-0, but playing a lot better in the second half of this first quarter. Johns will cover up with Usian knocking on the door. Johns looking for Hagen. Hagen sending it right back now to Benny Dargle. Hagen used to play for Don Popovic in Pittsburgh. Had quite a loyal following as well in Pittsburgh, so you might see a lot more people come Cleveland's way from Pittsburgh and come out and watch the Crunch play. 28 seconds to go in the first quarter, and it's a 1-0 lead here for St. Louis. Long pass from Hagen. Looking for King, that's blocked. Booted straight up by Eyes. Mepham heading it back. Dargle. Time running down 13 seconds, and Slomo dives with Sweeney right on top. 6 seconds left. Duran going long ball over Hagen and Leite. Hagen in the corner as the horn sounds, ending play in the first quarter. So all we have is the 1 goal scored very early, then the Crunch settled down into a rhythm, but were unable to get to the tying goal. But at the end of 1, it is St. Louis 1, Cleveland 0. You're watching Cleveland Crunch Soccer here on Sports Channel Ohio.
Tune on Sports Channel America any night of the week for exciting sports.
On comes Fuller on a breakaway. Let's shoot, score! Coming into the circle, side of Graham for Thomas. He scores! Tic-tac-toe!
Nobody delivers the NHL like we do, with more than 100 hard-hitting contests straight through to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Bennett's going to have to hurry.
Keep pace with the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame as they challenge top college teams across the nation. Climb into the ring every week with the Sports Channel Pro Boxing Tour. It's a knockout. feel-good people of high school sports with the National Federation Game of the Week. Sports Nightly keeps you up to date with the latest scores, highlights, and news before and after every event. Plus, men's and women's college basketball, the Los Angeles and Boston Marathon, pro tennis, English League soccer, international amateur events, and more. Turn on Sports Channel America for exciting sports.
Welcome back, everyone, to Cleveland Crunch Soccer. I'm John Paul Della Camera with Ty Keogh. Ty, I like the way the Crunch played once they gave up the goal, and you think that after that first goal, maybe something disastrous could have happened, and maybe St. Louis gets on a roll, but that didn't happen.
Well, that didn't happen for one because P.J. Johns made a nice stop or two. Here's the goal of De Oliveira. We mentioned a newcomer in the league, but he doesn't show it. He slots a very nice ball down the boards. You see him making a blindside run behind the Cleveland Crunch defense. Dargle's trying to get there. He doesn't get there in time. You see him wisely uses the boards, puts the ball out to the space at the far side, and Terlecki puts it away. So you see him really engineered the goal. Terlecki puts it away. You see him has scored a goal in each of the St. Louis Storm's last 6 games and has 5 assists also in that span. So he's been very hot.
So Terlecki has the only goal of the game thus far. A reminder that Sports Channel Ohio is home also of Cleveland Cavaliers basketball, and the Cavs will be traveling to Orlando. They'll take on the Magic Sunday, March 18th at 7:30, and we'll show you that game. That will be live here on Sports Channel Ohio. A couple of other reminders for you. Crunch fans, tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., you can meet Bernie James and Sean Phillips at Rolling Acres Mall in Akron. Bernie injured, not on this trip. Sean Phillips also not on this trip. And while you're thinking about things to do in Cleveland, you can bring the entire family to see the Crunch's next home game. March 18th, 2:05. I'll tell you, they're going to take on the red-hot Kansas City Comets. Great seats are still available for that. Those are the numbers to call in your respective areas. Cleveland 349-2090 in Akron. You saw the number there flashing in the end. Kansas City has won 9 out of their last 10 and 4 in a row, and they've got a game against San Diego tonight.
That's another important game in terms of that Eastern Division standings for the Crunch to try and get into that playoff spot.
You're watching Cleveland Crunch Soccer. It's 1:08, the time of the only goal in the first quarter. Terlecki from UC in the second quarter when we come back.
Did you know there are more boats and boating around the Great Lakes area than just about anywhere else? I'm Jerry Winder, host for a program called Great Lakes Boat Listings. Now, here's what it's all about. Boating information. Interviews with interesting people. Special events around the Great Lakes area. And, of course, boat listings. So we invite you to watch Great Lakes Boat Listings. It's all about boats and boating around the Great Lakes area. A regular weekly feature right here.
86 years ago, my dad was taking in trades like this one. And even though the styles have changed over the years, we still want to buy your car or truck, and we'll pay you cash. Now, if you're shopping for one, we just bought hundreds of additional models for our 86th anniversary, so you're sure to find just the one you want. No one buys them for less than we do, so you'll get the price you want, too. All you have to do is tell us what you want, and we'll help you get it exactly the way you want it at your Spitzer Auto store.
This bunch of guys would like to tell you, in their own words, why they believe playing Super Lotto in a group is more fun.
We won!
Yes! Super Lotto. It pays to play with your friends. How did these scholarly high school staff members know that playing Super Lotto in a group would increase their chances of winning?
Just an educated guess.
Super Lotto. It pays to play with your friends.
Be in some trouble here. Oh, what a shot by Maynard, and down goes
Welcome back, everyone. You haven't missed much. Second quarter has just begun. Hagen will knock it back now to Mepham. Mepham and Dargle at the back. Sweeney with King and Hagen. And it doesn't really matter which 6 Kai Haskeby put together. He's got 2 strong lines no matter what he does. Here's Mepham. Over 500 block shots in his MISL career for Dennis. Now it's Gary Heel for Michael Collins. Backboard Dragicevic. John Popovic has used everyone on his bench tonight so far. On the opposite side for Cleveland, a few players have not played. Gary Heel just had a bit of a collision with Benny Dargo and is limping back to the bench. He's been playing with an injury, a pulled left hamstring, and that didn't help it. Here's Sweeney the other way. The pass intended for Hagen was slightly defected, and there's slow-mo.
A nice idea, as Hagen was breaking into the space.
Here comes Mokalis for Terlecki. He has the only goal thus far. A rocket! He's got 2 goals!
P.J. Johns not pleased with himself. It's not really the kind of goal that a goalkeeper in this league likes to give up, because he had it covered Terlecki's initial shot. You see Terlecki there. It's just his night tonight. He's already got 2. It's Gus Mokalis breaks down the right side and just dishes it off to Terlecki. Terlecki's got a little bit of time to size up his options. He drills a ball that hits the glass, comes back off the glass, catches P.J. Johns in the back of his shoulder, and carries on into the goal. We'll see it again, and Terlecki does hit it well. It's got the spin on it, and P.J. Johns, by the time he's able to react, the ball has already hit off the back side of him and carried on into the goal. And Terlecki, with 18 goals and 9 assists this season for 27 points, has his 2nd goal of the night.
Stan Terlecki having a fine night so far. He's been the only man to score. Here comes Clavijo. A lot of space for one of the fastest players, Leite Clavijo.
Well, you don't like to dig yourself this kind of a hole. If you played just 24 hours ago, it's going to take that much more effort to try and get back into it. Obviously, the game plan is to keep it close, kind of establish a certain rhythm, and play with some confidence. Instead, you're looking at a 3-goal deficit. Here's Clavijo breaking so quickly as he can do out of the midfield. I call him the road runner. He gets up and down the field faster than anybody in the league. Dishes it off nicely to Leite. It's a beautiful return pass. Clavijo just has to reach for it with his right, the outside of his right foot, to put it in behind P.J. Johns.
I tell you, Leite makes a great pass going across. Not easy to do considering he's on the right side. He puts it on his left foot. Maybe if he's normally a right footer, he's going to shoot that.
Now it helps that he is left-footed there because he can just dish it across.
De Oliveira will have a restart. In fact, Cleveland had been doing so well up to that point, but you've got to look at that 2nd goal because it looked like it was a rocket, but it looked like Johns had it. Here's Durant. Now for Leite. Crunch need a goal as a pick-me-up. Get him back in there. Here's Karic. Right now, what they can't afford to do is think about those advantages they had in the 1st quarter when they couldn't score one. That one lands in the stands. So play is stopped with 13:03 to go here in the 2nd quarter play. It's all of a sudden a 3-0 lead. I tell you, Crunch fans, I don't want to give you a downer of a note, but when Stan Terlecki scores goals this year, they're 9-1 St. Louis.
Well, it helped that in a couple of those games he had 3 and 4 goals.
Oh, sure. Yeah, he did it on his own. Haskavy on the restart. Cleveland has done all right, scoring better than 4 goals a game on the road, but they're less than, or at home, I should say, but they average less than 3 on the road. That'll change, I think, with Karic and Hagen in there. Ball is played now by Marinaro. Here's a chance. Karic, good block from Fredrickson, who led the MISL last year in blocks. Haskavy right across to Marinaro. Not quite. Haskavy again. Held off by De Oliveira. Ferguson. Duran knocking that out. Now it's Dev Reeves. 3-0. Cleveland down early. 12:29 as Duran fouls Karic. And they're having some words. Marinaro's pass is broken up. Here's you see it. It's going to be a 2-on-1. Maybe 3-on-1 if Leite can beat the other players coming back. De Oliveira. Johns was coming out in the area for Leite. The turnaround off the top of the crossbar, and then you see in his block. Cleveland dodges the bullet. Here comes Haskavy. All the way across for Michael King. King trying to play it across. Blocked by Dragicevic. And now St. Louis playing with a lot of confidence, and Cleveland not together, especially defensively. Coming back, they're having a problem.
Well, St. Louis is not exactly a power at home either. They're only 11-10 in this building, so they have a lead like this, they're going to fight tooth and nail to try and hold on to because they need wins at home.
Yeah, and they've seen losses when they've had good leads at home. So this is by no means in the bag. St. Louis believes that too. So Don Popovic will remind him of that, I'm sure, in between breaks. Hagen now knocking it back to Dargo. Conversely, this has been a good road team, St. Louis. Off the boards. Dragicevic right back to Slovo. He'll roll it on the right side. Dragicevic again to Terlecki. Great play. Now to Collins. St. Louis playing with that confidence, which a 3-goal lead should give you. Knocked back by Clavijo. Slovo maybe 40, but he'd have to be 80 before he could get to that one.
Maybe too much confidence there by Clavijo, expecting Ilyievsky to be right there on the job and being still quick even at 40 years of age. But going back to Terlecki's heel pass, the St. Louis team really has some great players, and as far as individual talent, they match up with just about anyone. As an expansion team, they've had more problems in coordinating all that talent.
Right side, Karic looking for Hagen, and that's broken up. Dargle and Sweeney run into each other. Sweeney got free, now right side for Hagen. 10:35 to go. Second quarter, 3-0. Cleveland is down. Hagen trying to get around Collins. Terlecki helping out from behind. Their ex-teammates also, Terlecki and Hagen in Pittsburgh. Here's Meppel. Couple of fakes on Terlecki, leaving it off. Sweeney's pass. Karic couldn't turn,
but he can hold it.
Here's Dargo. But he couldn't turn also because Eyes was holding him. Here's Karic again in the corner. Look at the attention he draws. Off the boards, it's coming out. Hagen couldn't crack it. It's wide, and Slovo will cover it up.
Well, you could see what Hagen was trying there. He wasn't shooting. He was hoping that he could get that ball off the board back to himself.
Look at the room. They're giving Terlecki. And now broken up by Dargo. Terry Brown. Actually, Terry Brown was drafted by the Cleveland Force a couple years back. He's done well for St. Louis this year. Here's Gary Heel. Coming back on the left side. It's stopped by P.J. Johns. Johns will throw long. Here's some numbers for the Crunch. 2-on-1 as Collins hustles back. Karic to Marinaro. He scores! Cleveland comes right back in on the Marinaro goal.
Well, you need that first one. And Karic really set it up nicely to find Marinaro so well at that far side of the goal.
Well, Hector Marinaro, 4 goals in the last couple of days, and that one feels good for the Crunch. They are within a couple of goals here in St. Louis.
Facsimile. Again, technology is revolutionizing our business environment. Today, information can be delivered within seconds at a cost you can finally afford. Canex, Cleveland's oldest Canon facsimile dealer, can put the power of facsimile to work for you with the plain paper, fully featured laser-driven Fax L920, the plain paper Fax 350, or the personal Fax 120. Have Canex put the power of Canon facsimile in your hands. Call Canex for your free demonstration.
The play started with that save P.J. Johns made off of Gary Heel, and he launches the ball down to the left side to Karic. It's a quick break. Karic sees the advantage. He's sizing it up. Over at the far side, he's looking to try and find a way to slot it through to Marinaro, and he does, and there wasn't much space to do it, but Marinaro getting into that dangerous area at the back post. Karic showing good vision, and he actually put it through Gus Mocalis's legs. That was the only way through, and Marinaro, that's what he's paid to do, and he does it well.
That's a nice assist, because not only does he beat Mocalis, as you said, but he had to thread the needle to beat Collins and Slovo coming out.
Well, he timed it well, too, into Marinaro's run, and the angle of the pass is enough to eliminate, as you said, Ilyievsky and Collins.
Karic, 3rd assist, and this is only his 2nd game. He had 2 last night, so he's fitting in. Here's Gary Hill. Now, the next 5 minutes, I think, will be important for Cleveland. Does this pick them up? Can they get another score, or at least stop St. Louis? Here's Duran. Well, we almost had the answer to that question. Donegan, it's waved off. I thought so. He had possession. I thought they were going to wave it off. They're going to just let play keep going. Well, no whistle.
The officials looked at it a couple times. They looked at each other. They said no goal. It wasn't foul. And P.J. Johns then took the foul. So that's a close one because he had possession, but just barely. It just barely closed his hands around that ball when Donegan took a poke at it.
That'll be something that hopefully we can look at later because it was, as you said, close. But I thought he had it stopped. I thought he had possession. Mocalis will play it back now to Slovo.
Well, it's funny when you compare calls and the way the game is judged in different parts of the world. In British soccer, that would have been a goal because they really allow a more free-spirited thing around the goalkeeper.
That's a big save off of De Oliveira. Well, I thought they would just let play continue, but they really would have had to stop it. They must have just let that just continue. The play would have had to been stopped on that foul. Here's Heel. Off the boards, chested down by Ferguson. They give Heel another crack to Usean. Oh, look what P.J. Johns found.
Usean really should have done better with that one. He had time, and the ball, he was all alone as well, but he didn't put it on goal.
Slobo will clear it out. Too far for Leite. There's Green. Now running on the left side, Joe Posio. His first shift of the night. The rookie. Now it's played up to De Oliveira. Usean blocked. I thought by Ferguson, but they're going to say no. Last touched apparently by Usean. There's a timeout on the floor. 7:54 to go here in the second quarter, but the Crunch on a Marinaro goal are within a couple. You're watching Cleveland Crunch Soccer here on Sports Channel Ohio.
The key to great sports is great sports coverage, and no channel covers Ohio better than Sports Channel Ohio, designed to bring Ohio sports right into your living room. Down to the buzzer, right to the playoff action of the Cavs, the fast-pitching, power-hitting drive of the Indians, the start-to-finish magic of the Crunch, the ongoing hard-driving competition of the Mid-American Conference, and the crowd-pleasing battles of Ohio high school sports. All there, all on one channel, the channel made for Ohio, Sports Channel Ohio. But sports coverage on your channel doesn't stop there. Sports Channel Ohio also brings you the best of the NHL and Notre Dame. All there, all on your channel, Sports Channel Ohio.
We're going to go back and have a look at that almost goal that was called back against the Crunch. Gary Heel had the ball in the corner. He put it out in front. It's Duran. Cuts the ball nicely and then cracks it. P.J. Johns has it cradled somewhat, but it's still loose. Donegan's poking at it. The foul has ended up called against Donegan. He thinks he has a goal there. The officials did take a double take at each other to make a decision, but Casey Frankowitz, who was closest to it, immediately signaled for a foul going out.
Now, I had thought originally that Johns had possession. You saying no, that there was the foul?
Well, it could have been either way.
Okay.
It could have been either way, because what he did, and Frankowitz was actually shielded from having seen it, as P.J. Johns' back was to him. So that's why he was looking over here to S.E. Bahamas to try and get a call out of him. But there was also enough contact after the ball was loose that you could have called a foul going out.
De Oliveira lifting it with some spin off Leite. Metlem had Leite tied up well. There's Leite, who has one assist tonight. Trying to get free. Tripped up by Metlem. King also on there with some help. There's a look at Michael King, an all-star this year. Having a great year for Cleveland. Leads in all offensive categories. Even has 4 hat tricks, couple shorthanded goals for good measure. Off the boards for Leite. Metlem hanging on tight. Free kick here for St. Louis on the restart. Out to De Oliveira. Swung it in well, I thought, for Clavillo, but then it must have taken a bounce in that corner. Here's Dargo losing it. Pass from Leite blocked. He'll try it again as that goes way around the boards. Sweeney. Now Clavillo all the way back for Slobo. Slobo's already won 14 games this year. That's the most since he won 16 back in '87. Having a great year. And again, he was supposed to be the backup to Dave Bursick, but they were slumping. They gave Slobo a chance, and then he played well. And poor Bursick, he played well too, but the team wasn't playing well in front of him. And then David hurt himself, strained some ligaments, and he's out for a few weeks. Here's a pass into Usean, and John stretches his maximum to get that. Coming back, Hagen with a lot of room. De Oliveira trying to close him. He missed. Here's Hagen, a right footer. That's blocked by Duran. De Oliveira a little lax that time, I thought, defensively against Hagen.
Well, he's not really seen Hagen before. He didn't expect that sudden burst of speed. Hagen has that change of pace.
Even off 30 days, he showed what he could do. Here's De Oliveira blasting it off the boards, but Johns is there. 6:07 to play. Second quarter, Marinaro has to wait for it, then reversed it. Here's Karic. Metlem was open on the left, but that ball didn't do the tricks that Cleveland wanted it to do, and here comes St. Louis. Terlecki with Collins. Crunch hustling back. Terlecki wants it on the right foot, drills it, and he just missed the far post. He can be at a near impossible angle, or an impossible angle for a lot of players, but it's not impossible for him. And did that ball hit someone on a play, or are they just calling a foul? I think it hit out of play and came back in. Maybe someone off the St. Louis bench. St. Louis bench. Maybe somebody hit it there. There's Karic, one of the newcomers. I tell you, San Diego got a great player when they got him from Yugoslavia. But things didn't work out this year, and he was on the block, and Cleveland really lucked out. Karic was going to go somewhere, and San Diego had to shake things up. And likewise, Hagen had played himself, really, or maybe the case is not played himself out with Tacoma when he walked out before a game. So those are the reasons why those moves happen, as Collins sends one, and it goes into the seats on the play.
I tried to get Dave Hagen to talk about that a little bit in an interview that we're going to show at halftime here, the run-in that he had with his coach up in Tacoma. So, but he doesn't say much, as you would expect.
It's all in the past, I guess, and he's going to try to live a new life in Cleveland as a member of the Crunch. Storm are leading it. Here's Dave Hagen. He's coming up at halftime in a pre-recorded chat, he and Ty Keogh, and then later on, Drew Ferguson as well, another newcomer to the Crunch, who's going to add some leadership to this team, especially now at the back with Bernie James not playing. They miss James's leadership back there and his toughness. Pascovic sending it long. Broken up by Clavijo. Gary Hill was open. 3-1 St. Louis, second quarter. Hill, free shot, and he missed. Knocked in.
It was in. It was in on the first shot.
Was it?
Yep.
Well, Dragicevic must think so.
That was a cannon by Gary Hill, laying with a bandaged left hamstring. Boy, he really lit that one up. I'm gonna have to look at this one again. The way I saw it, it was in on the first shot.
Well, let's give you the eye test here.
All right, give my eyes a test. Here's Heel. He's looking around for help. He decides to take it on himself. A nice decoy run by Dragicevic. And here's the left-footed hammer. It's past P.J. Johns, and it's up into the net. It's back out, and then Dragicevic puts it in for good measure. But that's Gary Heel's goal.
That's a good call for you. I don't think the goal judge put the light on.
No, he didn't. Well, how could he do it that quickly? That ball came out faster than it went in.
4-1. Heel had a lot of room when he brought it to the middle. I think they'll change that. I agree. I agree with you on the second call. I didn't think it was in on Heel's first shot when I called it. But that replay looked pretty good.
Well, he hit it that hard. And it hit that metal post that holds up the net in the back of the net.
You know, Dragicevic is happy, obviously, that they scored. But I'll tell you, if that's his goal, I think he gives it a little better reaction. I hope. 4:45 to go in the second quarter. Let's see if they change that. We think it's Heel's 10th of the year at 9:53. 4-1. St. Louis leading over Cleveland. Karic knocking it up. Now it's Heel taking over.
I guess I can be an Air Force pilot now.
Well, I don't know. Let's wait and see. Here's Terry Brown getting the lead pass. Looking. Collins blocked by Johns. Johns had to go to the acrobatics. He may have to go again. Collins is blocked. That's a great tackle from Dargle.
He doesn't get a piece of that. It's Heel again, who's waiting at the far side with no one near him.
That was going to be a pass. It was not going to be a shot there. Here's Slovo passing it to Heel. Headed back down to McAllis. And he must have heard Marinaro coming across. Now it's Duran. Leading it for Donegan. Donegan coming back for the ball. Looking up for Leite. He'll get it right back. Donegan up the boards for Leite. It's blocked by Johns. Leite lost it now to Dargle. Up for Sweeney. De Oliveira hemming him in, but Sweeney blows by. Sweeney loses to the Donegan tackle. Now it's getting a bit ragged for both teams. King blocked. Dargle will swing it to Hagen with 3.5 left in the first half. 4-1. St. Louis leading over Cleveland. Terlecki has a couple of goals. Marinaro, the only score thus far for the Crunch. From Karic, here's Sweeney. In for King. King right side for Hagen. Duran on him. Hagen looking for some movement. Now knocks it for Dargle. Across the way, it's Mempel. Cleveland slowing things down now. Trying to catch St. Louis. Maybe it's a ball watching. Have someone make a run off the ball. King trying to get free, but he's a marked man. Sweeney lifting it for Michael King. Off the boards, De Oliveira and Mepham. Mepham wins that battle, but almost lost the war to Donegan coming across. Fredrickson, and now King after getting all kinds of treatment in the box, probably decided he'll dish some out. Fredrickson's a good defender. And Fredrickson was on King, tight. Up for Usean. Green blocked it, then couldn't find it. Here's a Leite shot block. They've given the goal to Heel, as you called it, from Michael Collins. Played across, nobody there. Right side now, De Oliveira. So I'll give you credit for that good call. That was very quick, and I didn't think it was in on the first try. But it was Heel's goal, 10th of the year from Collins at 9:53.
That's really how well Heel tied into that ball, because he rifled it into that upper corner.
Charlie Green. Now back towards Dargle, but Hagen will get it. We've got 2 minutes to play in the first half. Cleveland had trailed 3-0. They scored to make it 3-1 on Marinaro's goal, and then they gave one up to Gary Heel. They'd love to get one here before the half. Green knocking it. Here's a chance for Hagen off the boards. King was open, but he didn't feel that pass. Didn't take it off the boards from Hagen, or he might have been point blank with a free shot on Slobo. Here comes Usean with 1:36 to go. Usean a blast too high. He almost got his own pass back. Now Reeves. Charlie Green, a crunch though. They've got to get it out of there. Durant trapping it to Eyes with 1:23 to go. Karic back on for the crunch. Off the boards, Dragicevic. Cutting off the boards. Terlecki has 2. Has 3 as he beat Memphis man P.J. Johns. The hat trick for Terlecki.
Terlecki's a marksman, and he's delighting the fans here in St. Louis. But boy, the quick little move, and he catches the upper corner with a powerful shot. P.J. Johns doesn't have much chance on that quality type of shot. We'll see it here. Terlecki keeps the ball under such close control. Watch him. Just a quick move to his side. Mepham's nearly there, but Terlecki still manages to get all the way around the ball and get enough force on it to overpower P.J. Johns, and also tremendous placement on the shot.
Well, he has the hat trick. His 19th goal of the year. That time that red light is spinning for St. Louis. There's Stan Terlecki. 19 goals on the year. He deserves a little liquid refreshment after the first half he's had. 5-1, St. Louis leading over Cleveland, and Terlecki leads the Crunch himself 3-1. Stands 19th of the year at 13:51, and they'll give the assist to Dragicevic. Well, instead of Cleveland getting the goal, St. Louis gets it, and they're coming back. Clavijo trying to get the return pass. Eyes will tee it up wide. Here's Heel, an awkward shot, another one. P.J. Johns, a big save on the Heel header. 25 seconds left in the half. Boy, St. Louis doesn't want this half to end. Durant, couple of nice moves. 18 seconds left. So you see it knocked away, but Durant was fouled by Karic, and that goes back to the first few minutes of this game when they had some words. Maybe not in the same language, but I think they understood each other. On the restart, Usean to Heel, right back. Usean, couple of moves, blocked on the short side by Johns' right foot, and now Marinaro clears. 7 seconds left. Karic couldn't get it. Durant with 3, and now Durant and Karic very close to one another, and Essie Baharmas will break up this dance. Tempers were a little bit short there.
Well, I don't know what kind of a street fighter Darryl Durant is, but he's certainly one of the strongest players in the league in terms of upper body strength. I don't think Karic would match up with him, at least in that category.
Slovo came over maybe for some words in Karic's native tongue, and there's Stuart Jump, one of the assistant coaches on the Cleveland Crunch. Crunch are trailing, though, at the end of the first half of play. Things were looking good for a while, but then the last couple of goals came St. Louis's way. It's 5-1 St. Louis at halftime.
Stand right up for who you are. Stand up right now. Stand up and be counted.
The census is not for welfare.
I'm sorry.
But counts for clinics, schools, and jobs.
Don't worry about a mess.
Census time is the time to speak up. Let's make sure we're all counted. Come on, answer the census.
Stand right up for who you are. Stand up.
Who put the Ford in affordable? Spitzer, that's who. Get a brand new 90 Ranger XLT pickup with lots of extra equipment. Or a new 90 Mustang LX with power windows, power door locks, power mirrors, AM/FM stereo cassette, and more. Take your pick for an amazing 8888. We have brand new 90 conversion vans with everything you've always wanted in a van for less, only $14,950. We put the Ford in affordable at Spitzer Ford in Mentor and in Cuyahoga Falls.
Sports Channel Ohio presents the Ohio High School Basketball Championships. Share in the excitement as the Lady Roundballers put the pride of their schools on the line. See exclusive coverage on Saturday, March 17th, starting at 11, live on Sports Channel Ohio.
1, 2, 3, easy as can be.
When I play pick three numbers, I play the backup bet. Even if I don't win big, I've got more chances to win cash because I have two ways to win the backup bet. No matter what order my numbers come up, I win. If they come up in the exact same order, I win a lot more. Either way, it feels so good to win.
Pick three, easy as can be. Pick three numbers.
Welcome back, everyone. We are here at halftime. The St. Louis Storm with a commanding lead, at least at this point, over the Cleveland Crunch by the score of 5-1. But in indoor soccer, stranger things have happened, so please don't turn off the set right now. We've seen a lot of comebacks this year in the MISL, and St. Louis has had some trouble sometimes when they've had good leads at the half. 5-1, though, is your score. Stan Terlecki has 3 goals. Marinaro the only goal for Cleveland. Earlier in the day, Ty Keogh had a chance to talk to one of the newcomers in the Crunch, Dave Hagen. Here's how that interview went.
Dave, you've been in this league for quite a few years now, but this season you had to miss a few games.
Yeah, just 12. And I got suspended for 30 days. Fined a lot of money, but I'm playing again, so I'm happy.
Situation up there that just couldn't be avoided?
Not from my side, not from his. It just came me ahead, and I walked out.
So you've got a chance here to maybe make something of this season.
I'm 1-0 right now, and hopefully we can win the rest of the games, get to the playoffs, and take it from there.
Plenty of guys that you're familiar with the Cleveland Crunch here, guys you've played against and on the same team with throughout the years. A couple guys you've had rivalries with as well.
Big Bernie, Fergie's back, Little Sweeney. A lot of players that I know and a lot of players that I didn't like before. I like them now, though.
I guess you're looking forward also for Hector Marinaro to return to the lineup. I would think a potent attacking combination there.
Well, that changed with Hector, so we played last night and he scored a hat-trick, and tonight hopefully he'll score another hat-trick, and I can add a couple myself.
You're up playing for a coach now who was a former opponent in the league. How does that go?
Not too bad. I never knew he was a nice fella until I signed. Before that, we always had a big rivalry, had a lot of fights on the field, and hopefully we won't be fighting now.
Scoring goals has been a part of your game and getting points, and the Cleveland Crunch need to make a playoff run here at this point in the season. They're looking to you.
I think they're looking to myself and maybe Zoran Karic, one of the other new player, and we will do. We'll score goals and we'll get assists for Cleveland, and we will be in the playoffs.
You're feeling well? You had the time off. Were you training?
No, wouldn't let me train. So last night was my first game back. I've had a good 33 days off, so I was very tired last night, but I feel okay.
So do you think it'll be a few games before you really get into form?
Maybe 3 or 4 games. Last night I felt okay. My legs were okay, my lungs were shot, but I'll be okay by 3 or 4 games.
Well, Dave, the Cleveland Crunch will welcome you into their fold, and always looking for someone that can bring together points and take some of the pressure off some of the other scoring players. Is that what you feel like? You have a little bit of the burden on you?
Not a burden. It's just great scoring goals. You go out there and that's the object of being a forward, scoring goals. And I will score goals. You've got Hector, King and myself, Zoran, Kai. So everybody can score goals and everybody can contribute to the rest of the season.
Dave Hagen, thank you very much. We wish you luck in your new uniform for the Cleveland Crunch.
And speaking of goals, the Crunch could use some of those at the half. St. Louis leads 5-1.
It's part of the celebration and part of the game. It's a big night out.
and a warm welcome home. When the job's well done and you call it a day, it's there. And for 80 million responsible Americans, it's simply a good part of the good life. It's beer. A message from Budweiser.
All right, let's see. My taxes, income tax.
For some people, doing their basic tax forms by themselves can make them feel like they're climbing the walls.
My full name is, I remember that, Dependents.
If you need help, free tax help is available from IRS-trained volunteers. Find them by calling 1-800-424-1040. They'll make your taxes less taxing.
No channel covers Ohio sports better than Sports Channel Ohio, a channel created to bring you the best of Ohio sports. The all-American thrills of the Indians, the start-to-finish magic of the Crunch, the hard-driving competition of the Mid-American Conference, and the crowd-pleasing battles of Ohio high school sports. All on Sports Channel Ohio.
Get to know one of the best teams in college basketball. Digger Phelps helps you keep pace with Notre Dame, introducing you to the team and taking you on the hardwood for every matchup. The Digger Phelps Show, Mondays at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, exclusively on Sports Channel America. Watch some of the best soccer players compete in one of the oldest soccer leagues in the world. Direct from Great Britain, it's English League Soccer. Rugged and exciting action every week on English League Soccer, only on Sports Channel America. Check your TV listings for days and times.
Welcome back, everyone, to St. Louis at halftime. 5-1 is your score, St. Louis leading it. Well, before we went to that last break, we showed you one of the newest members of the Cleveland Crunch, David Hagen, who came in a trade. Now it's a chance to meet another member of the Cleveland Crunch, but somebody who should be familiar to Cleveland audiences. He used to play for the Force. Let's meet Drew Ferguson.
Drew, there's a new look to the Cleveland Crunch. Some faces have been added. Drew Ferguson for one, Dave Hagen, Zoran Karic, but you're not that new to Cleveland fans.
No, I spent a little time there back with the Cleveland Force days, and those were very fun days, very exciting times, and now I'm back with the Cleveland Crunch, and hopefully we can turn it around and make those the days as of now the same as they were before.
Well, you feel pretty good about what's been happening since you've been back in the team.
Yeah, I think I don't think Drew Ferguson is going to turn the franchise around, but I'm going to help solidify the defense. I think the players of Dave Hagen and Zoran Karic that they brought in will help turn his club around, and after the result we had last night in Wichita, I think this team is comparable with anybody in the MISL, and we put a good string together. I think the other teams could be in trouble.
An important result in Wichita last night. Is that something you think is a real indication of what's going to happen?
Oh, definitely. It was an important game because that's the team that we're chasing. I think if we'd lost that game, that would have put us really deep in the hole. It's given the boys some confidence now, and they've had some hard times here in St. Louis, I understand, so this will be another measuring stick for us.
Well, your last season in the MISL was the 86-87 season. I guess most people are going to wonder where you've been in the meantime.
Well, I've been up in Canada playing in the outdoor league, and now I'm the player coach of the Ottawa Intrepid, and I'm doing the same thing that Kai is doing, and I'm finding difficult things in that, and as Kai is now, but I enjoy it very much back in the outdoor game, but right now my mind's back on the indoor game with the Cleveland Crunch.
Have you spoken to Kai about that, the position of being both a player and a coach? Is it something that you feel like you'd give him some perspective on?
Yeah, we haven't really talked about it right now because when I come in, it was we got straight to work as far as trying to get this team turned around, but one of these days I'm sure we'll sit down together and we'll have a good chat about it.
Some good friends in the team, guys that you played with the Force, and also some good attacking players brought in, something that you're going to enjoy as a midfield player.
Yeah, you know, now I'm playing a lot of defense. Both with the Crunch, I'll be playing at the back most of the time, and probably going up forward from with the late runs, and I'm looking forward to that. But as I said, with people like Hoggy and Zoran Karic and Kai and Kingy, these people can do things on their own. So I'll sit back and try to stop the people scoring goals on us and let those 4 or 5 guys do their magic up front.
Do you find so far in just the few games that you've played that the league has changed much?
Well, there's a few rules I've still tried to catch on. Actually, there's a few rule changes that I've I had to try to get started out. But no, I think the game's the same. I think the first couple of games weren't quite the intensity wasn't as big as it was last night. And you look back to the old Cleveland Force, Pittsburgh days where you spend a lot of time kicking players and kicking balls. And last night that game was like that again, and that was very enjoyable. I really got excited about that game, and hopefully that's the way we keep it going.
Do you really think that's what it'll take in order for the Crunch to make a playoff run here?
Oh, definitely. I think that every single player from the stars to the grinders are going to have to pick up their pace and do whatever they have to do. I mean, if it means sticking their face in front of balls to block things and tackling hard and winning tackles and getting the ball up and working up and down, that's what it'll take, because I think we have to win probably 11 of the 15 games. And it's not impossible. I think there's a good chance at it, but it will take very hard work from every single player.
Well, I'm sure the fans in Northern Ohio, the MISL and Cleveland Crunch fans, will enjoy you guys making the best of that and going at it in that fashion. Thank you, Drew Ferguson.
Drew Ferguson, a very hard worker for the Cleveland Crunch. Hard work is going to be what is needed as the Crunch are down by 4 here at the half.
Joust believes to each according to his needs, from each according to his... That sounds a little like Karl Marx. But,
oh, just a touch.
Is that real zebra skin? No, this.
I'll tell you right after. Tell you exactly where I got it from. It's a tremendous story.
Hey, all the slobs aren't quarterbacks. There are some slob reporters, too.
If you'll excuse me, fellas, I have to blow my nose.
Yeah, blow your nose. See if you hit him right between the eyes and see if that doesn't...
Dennis Rodman smiles through... He smiles when some guy kicks him in the groin.
1, 2, 3. Easy as can be.
I love playing pick 3 numbers. All I do is pick 3, and then I play them in a straight bet. It's fun. If my numbers match the winning numbers in the exact same order, my dollar wins $500. Play the straight bet, and your $1 can win $500. Feels so good to win so big.
Pick 3, easy as can be. Pick 3 numbers.
No channel covers Ohio sports better than Sports Channel Ohio, a channel created to bring you the best of Ohio sports. Down to the buzzer, right into the playoffs with the Cavs, the All-American thrills of the Indians and the Reds, the start-to-finish magic of the Crunch, the hard-driving competition of the Mid-American Conference, and the crowd-pleasing battles of Ohio high school sports, all on Sports Channel Ohio.
This is the brain activity of a normal 14-year-old. This is the brain activity of a 14-year-old after smoking marijuana. If you use pot, you're not using your brain.
Welcome back, everyone, to Cleveland Crunch Soccer. I'm John Paul Della Camera with Ty Kia, or maybe I should say welcome to the Stan Terlecki Show. He has been amazing right since the opening minute of play. He's gotten 3 goals.
He really has, and some great goals as well. He's just showing what a marksman he is. As I said, the placement and the power on his shots have been outstanding.
Stan Terlecki, and we're going to watch him in action right now as he leads in the first of 3.
On his first goal, really, though, was Usain that set the table for him. He does do well to position himself, strike the ball. All he knows is he has to hit that empty side of the net. As P.J. Johns was trying to scramble over to that side, he couldn't get there in time, and Terlecki put it away. On this one was a little bit where P.J. Johns, I think, was disappointed in how he handled it, because Terlecki lines up the shot. It is a screamer with some top spin, but it's actually going wide. It hits the plexiglass behind P.J. Johns, then hits P.J. Johns in the back of his shoulder, and then carries on into the goal.
That goal gave St. Louis a quick 2-0 jump start, and then Clavijo, one of the fastest players in the league, takes off.
This is some nice work. Clavijo taking advantage of a quick break. He splits the Cleveland defense, and then Leite very nicely returns the ball back to him. Clavijo puts it away at the far side of the net with the outside of his right foot.
Well, things were not looking good right there as the goal was scored by Clavijo, but then Cleveland came back with Marinaro and Karic helping out.
Well, P.J. Johns started this when he made the save off of Gary Heel. He whips the ball downfield. Karic has lots of time and space. He's able to really look up and see what's going on. He spots Marinaro at the far side. He slots the ball through. Marinaro puts it away, and at this point, the Crunch were playing pretty well, and we're only within 2 goals.
And then I think the thing we'll see next is that near goal, the one that looked like it was going to be a goal, but waved off by the officials.
Gary Heel knocks the ball out front. Duran cuts the ball inside, hammers a low shot. PJ has it, but whether he's got complete control of it, we're not sure. I think what they really ended up calling was the foul after the ball was loose, as Donegan tried to shake it out of there. So no goal because of the foul call. There we see the St. Louis Storm, Gary Heel, getting a lot of space at the top of the arc, and he hits this left-footed bomb into the upper corner. It catches that metal pole post that's in the back of the net that holds up the netting and comes flying out. Dragicevic then put it in for good measure, but that's Gary Heal's goal with just a wicked left-footed shot.
And then it remained for Stan Trelecky to finish off the quarter just the way he started it. Trelecky's goal was his third goal of the day. He gets the hat trick, and you could tell when he saw Mepham coming towards him, you could feel that he was going to go for it.
Well, Trelecky, he'll always take his chances. He's a forward, and that's what he's out there to do. He lines Mepham up, just a little bit of a fake. He goes to the right so quickly, and then he just whips around on the ball with the right foot. And again, the placement and the power are there, and P.J. Johns has no chance.
I'll tell you, it may seem like a cliche, but the Crunch have to do it now, one goal at a time. A 4-goal lead with a half to go is not insurmountable.
Not at all, particularly when you're talking about a St. Louis Storm team that has not been terribly consistent, especially at home. They've let a few of these leads slip away from them.
There are your halftime stats. St. Louis, 24 shots, only 7 for the Crunch. That's not enough normally to win a game, but you know what? Haskeby only had 6 shots last night. He scored on 3 of those.
Well, shots does not always tell the whole story, as you can see there, but Cleveland is going to have to step it up. They're going to have to play maybe a little more physically. As Drew Ferguson talked about the game last night in Wichita, it sounded like a game that must have been of playoff intensity, and that's how important each and every one of these games are for the Cleveland Crunch now as they try and make that last playoff spot.
Well, I wonder if last night Ty didn't take a lot out of them physically as well.
Well, it had to, and emotionally, because when you talk about it, when you're right up against that team that you're battling for that last playoff spot against, you're going to put so much into that type of game.
Well, Cleveland needs a good start here, and let's see what they come up with. Here's Marinaro. Oh, he had Michael King open, but it was just blocked by Clavijo. Now it's Sweeney with a pass in. King off the boards, blocked by Mocalis. All the way back to Dargle. Mepham is open. Not for long. De Oliveira blocks him. In the corner intended for King. King didn't get a pass that he could have done much with. And St. Louis will have the ball. St. Louis looks good statistically. When they're up at the half, they're 9-1, but I have seen them lose some games where maybe not at halftime, but before halftime, they had some decent leads, and then things just fell apart. Same thing with some early stages in the third quarter, but when they've led at the end of the half, they're 9-1. Now it's Clavijo. Conversely, the Crunch are 4-19 when they're down at the half. Usean now to De Oliveira, intended for Trelecky, who'll be a marked man there, and Mepham knocked him down, and Trelecky's hurting, but that looked like the right leg, not the left that's bandaged. Play continues. Here's Sweeney shooting it, blocked by Slovo. I think S.C. Bahamas, yep, he is going to blow the whistle. Mepham got him, I thought, on the right side, not his left, but he's in some pain.
Mepham tackled hard through the ball as he stepped in front of Trelecky. Trelecky really looks to be in quite a bit of pain, especially the right. We'll see it here. Mepham anticipating well, gets there at the same time that the ball does. And it's really the leg away from Mepham that Trelecky is now grimacing about. So it's perhaps maybe his weight shifted as Mepham went through it.
I thought the knees hit. Each player's knee hit, and that could be very painful if that.
Well, I don't really think so, because Mepham is on Trelecky's, is to Trelecky's left, and it's the right knee that's involved. So I don't think there was any contact made. It was more his supporting leg.
Trelecky apparently is okay. St. Louis leads at 5-1. We're early in the third quarter.
Facsimile. Again, technology is revolutionizing our business environment. Today, information can be delivered within seconds at a cost you can finally afford. Canex, Cleveland's oldest Canon facsimile dealer, can put the power of facsimile to work for you with the plain paper fully featured laser-driven Faxel 920, the plain paper Fax 350, or the personal Fax 120. Have Canex put the power of Canon facsimile in your hand. Call Canex for your free demonstration.
We are at the arena in St. Louis, 5-1. St. Louis leading it with 14:04 to play here in the third quarter. We're just underway. Halftime stats showed that St. Louis was out shooting Cleveland big time at 24-7, but it's not necessarily the number of shots, it's the quality of those shots. But right now, Cleveland needs a couple of goals to get a little momentum going and trying to put St. Louis down. Here's Haskeby. Stolen away. De Oliveira had some help from Leite. Knocked away. Mepham got a piece. Haskeby got the rest. And now it's Dargle. First game these two clubs played, Cleveland lost in overtime, 4-3. Here's King. Next three were blowouts in favor of St. Louis, and now Leite just blasts one down the field.
Well, it's been an entertaining game by and large in terms of the up and down action and the quick breaks. It's just that St. Louis has taken better advantage of their breaks. Not many fouls either. Each team only had 7 there in the first half, and I think that may be part of the answer for the Cruncher. If they can rough it up a little bit, they may be able to throw St. Louis out of this very strong performance they've had up to this point.
There's Hoskevy. Last night it was a rough game indeed. Wichita had something like 25 fouls, 17 on the Crunch. A couple of Wichita players were ejected. Terry Rowe for instigating a fight. Borja was also tossed out of that one. Here comes Heel. Broken up by Hagen. Upfield now, this is Karic. Karic deking, he has Hoskevy with him. Karic, nice cutback on the right foot, scores! What a great goal from Karic!
Just a tremendous individual effort. Zoran Karic showing why Kai Hoskevy, Al Miller, the Cleveland Crunch front office wanted to acquire him from San Diego because he can do it on his own. And in that particular play, Hagen gives him a nice ball, but he's the one that really takes people on. He has Fredrickson nearly beaten here, was able to battle him up, and that's a first-class move there to cut the ball back across the grain, get the defenders going the other way, and then a quick low shot beats Ilievsky, which is no easy task. Ilievsky, one of the top goalkeepers in the league all this season, this time is beaten by that low quick shot underneath and through his legs. Here's Karic, just enough space to crack it low and hard, and he gets it in underneath Ilievsky, in fact, through his legs.
That's his first goal for the Crunch. Green crunches heel, and the foul is called. Tell you, when you see Karic make moves like that, you're glad you're working with me and not having to defend against that. That can twist you around.
No, thank you.
Clavijo will send it long for heel. Collins. Again, let's see what Cleveland can do after scoring that goal. Hoskevy will get the assist on it. He recently, earlier this year, picked up his 350th career assist. Slovo will find David Eyes now, a St. Louis prospect. So many of these players are from St. Louis or played some kind of ball here, whether it was with the Steamers or high school or college. David Eyes in particular, one of the many. Daryl Duran, Mark Fredrickson,
Terry
heck
Brown.
of a list. Clavijo playing it long. Gary Heel leaving it off now for Michael Collins. Dragicevic knocks it out. Eyes couldn't pull the trigger. Clavijo being pressured now as the ball comes back the other way. That was Ferguson putting up the heat. Slovo hasn't been roaming as much this year as we've seen him in previous years.
But just when you say it.
Yeah, like on cue. Here's a nice knock to Heel, and he missed it.
What a goal that would have been as Slovo started the play with a beautiful pass down the right side. You see him dished it off nicely to Heel.
Here's Green. Okay, the Crunch, though, defensively fell asleep. Here's a shot wide by Koziel. They were watching as Usain was passing.
Well, St. Louis does have the luxury of using Ilievsky in that fashion. He's very good with the ball at his feet, particularly on his right foot. And when they are under pressure and need to work it back, they use him very liberally, and it just gives them more options. And on that one, it may have lulled Cleveland Crunch defense to sleep, as you said, because that ball played deep into their zone and not much reaction from the Crunch.
Here's Leite coming through. Johns got out there to smother it. Good move by P.J. Johns. Looked like he was going to have the day off on that one, but then he had to come into work.
He had some help from Sweeney there, who stepped in to help muscle Leite out of the play.
Here comes Duran. Darrell tees it up, and that one goes upstairs. Duran making the transition very well this year from a midfielder to a defender. And if you think back to the last year of the Steamers, he even played some as a target forward. As we look at Leite and Sweeney going off, St. Louis leads over Cleveland 5-2 in the third quarter. You're watching Cleveland Crunch Soccer here on Sports Channel Ohio.
Turn on Sports Channel America any night of the week for exciting sports.
On comes Fuller on a breakaway. Let's shoot, score! Moving into the circle, Simon and Graham for Thomas. He scores! Tic-tac-toe!
Nobody delivers the NHL like we do, with more than 100 hard-hitting contests straight through to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Bennett's going to have to hurry.
Keep pace with the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame as they challenge top college teams across the nation. Climb into the ring every week with the Sports Channel Pro Boxing Tour. It's a knockout. Feel the fever of high school sports with the National Federation Game of the Week. Sports Nightly keeps you up to date with the latest scores, highlights, and news before and after every event. Plus, men's and women's college basketball, the Los Angeles and Boston Marathons, pro tennis, English League soccer, international amateur events, and more. Turn on Sports Channel America for exciting sports.
Well, the Crunch have a job to do, but they're coming back in it on that Karic goal. They trail now by the score of 5-2. Switching from the ball you kick to the ball that you dribble and shoot with, Sports Channel Ohio is the home of the Ohio High School Boys Championships. You can watch exciting live coverage on Saturday. There's the schedule, March 24th. Division 1 starts at 11 a.m., Division 4 at 2, Division 3 at 6, Division 2 at 9. The Ohio High School State Finals live on Sports Channel Ohio. You know, before, when indoor soccer first got started, a lot of the coaches looked at professional hockey for some tips. Now they also look at basketball. A lot of similarities in the two sports. A lot of the progressive coaches studied basketball in the earlier days. Here's Usean coming down the right side of the field. Leite calling for the ball. He was open. It was behind him. Knocked back a couple, and a toe poke by Leite, and Johns had that one on the string. A better pass, and that's in.
And Usean with a great ball on the first one to Leite. May have been slightly behind him, but he was there and really should have been able to do better with it.
Slow ball with a toss now on the right side for Terry Brown. 5-2. St. Louis leading it. If Cleveland could get the next goal, that would be the closest that they've been in some time. They were down 3-0. Marinaro made it 3-1, so they were within 2, and then the lead jumped up on 2 consecutive Storm goals. Usean, what a great year he's had, and remember, he sat out a year. He was an accountant last year.
Well, there's some of that aggressiveness. Mike Sweeney taking it out on the accountant, Thompson Usean, settling up some sums there, and I think with Sweeney's fiery character, he's the one that's going to try and really inspire the rest of his teammates to step up the level.
Let's say to Durant, he's open. The shot saved, PJ, rebound is a score for Usean.
Usean having another multiple point night. He beat P.J. Johnser on the rebound. Johnson really made a fine save on the initial shot, and it just happened to come directly out to Usean, and those are the things that will happen. It's Duran who's at the top of the box, takes a left-footed shot. Johns makes a save, but it goes right under the foot of Thompson Usean, and he knows what to do with those. He puts it in high over Thompson Usean. We get a different angle on it. Duran takes his time, hits it hard, too hard for P.J. Johns to hold. Usean just camped out there. No Cleveland Crunch defender is really that close to Usean either when he puts it away.
So Usean, who leads the club in goals scored with 23, and he's really had to pick up the offense. Where they lost Godfrey Ingram, he was their leading scorer, out with a broken jaw. He's trying to do some light training right now, but he's awful winded. That's what that jaw injury can do to you. It affects your breathing. Here's Haskavy shooting it in. Slovo is right there. Give Duran the assist. 6 straight games where Duran has had an assist now for St. Louis. So again, Cleveland, after getting back and having a chance to pick away at that lead of St. Louis, falls behind again by 4. Here's Gary Heel against Reeves. Tried to play it across to Collins, couldn't make the connection. Collins finds Duran. Save for PJ. Duran just teed it up. Now Collins will poke it back to Frederickson.
The Crunch have been vulnerable tonight to runs by the St. Louis really supporting cast in terms of the midfield and the backs coming forward to the backside. It seems like they're not aware. The defense sets up. They're not aware of what's going on behind them.
De Oliveira. Now back for Heel, up for Collins. He's done a lot of the Storm games. Has Duran moved into the offense as much as he has tonight as De Oliveira was fouled, and there's a penalty on Haskavy. Has Duran been in as much of the offense as we've seen him in tonight?
Well, tonight, because the team is doing well and is up by several goals, he feels that he can risk a little bit more going forward. So we're seeing him go forward more than he has in the past. Here's the penalty against Haskavy. De Oliveira is putting the ball out, and it's that second leg coming through very deliberately by Haskavy that he gets nailed for, and it'll be 2 minutes for kicking or tripping.
So as Kai sits it out, on the plus side, Cleveland has the best penalty killers in the MISL, statistically speaking. You know who's second is the Storm. So you've got the two best penalty killing units in the league going at it tonight. But right now it's the Storm on the power play. First power play of the night. Here's Leite. Lays it across to Oliveira. Off the boards. Duran to Clavijo. Broken up by Mepham. Here's a lead pass for King. Slobo's coming out. Slobo with a clear. That'll go out of play, but there you can see Slobo at his wandering best. And you know, that's a tough distance for him to come out when you consider the fact that right now the backup goalkeeper has been Bill Cowie, who's really untested in the indoor game. But Slobo's not thinking about that. He's upset, I think, that he cleared it out, although a lot of people would have thought that maybe he put it up there purposely.
Well, really, the important thing for him maybe was to get to the ball first and then get out of the way of King so he doesn't risk any injury. But Ilievsky has tremendous game sense, and he reads the game so well. He was able to time his run well to really stop that quick break.
Ball played up now to Michael King. Pass across, and Clavijo will block it. Coming back, it's Sweeney. I kept looking down at the bench to see if Bill Cowie was there because he's on this lineup sheet, but I don't see him, so I believe they've only dressed the one keeper. There's Slobo on the clear off Leite. Mepham. Leite trying to trap it for De Oliveira. All the way across to Usian. 1:12 left in the power play, and that one's going the other way. On Mepham as Usian gets up slowly. Usian, the MISL's Offensive Player of the Week. Mike Dowler was the Defensive Player of the Week. Here is Leite. Blocked. Sweeney. Now it's McAllis. Ex-San Diego Soccer to Duran. 6-2. St. Louis leading it by 4 with 7:08 to go here in the third. Bad pass across, and Mepham will get it. He loses it as well. Knocked away from behind Michael King. That was probably close to a tripping penalty.
Yeah, he took a pretty good swing at the back of Duran's ankles. So he gets off lightly with the foul.
Here's Duran, signed by the Steamers right out of high school. To De Oliveira, that's blocked. Michael King.
Yeah, Duran of St. Louis and the captain of the St. Louis Storm team.
Lost it to Usian. De Oliveira, Duran breaking in. One pass was blocked, and Dargo helps out P.J. Johns.
And again, this Cleveland Crunch penalty killing unit doing without the services of Bernie James, who would normally be one of the guys playing in the back there.
28 seconds left on the power play for St. Louis, and Cleveland wanted to take a timeout. So P.J. Johns walks over to the Crunch bench. They will talk things over. Crunch need to get 2 goals, not 1. They need to get 2 back-to-back before St. Louis can get them, because every time the Crunch seems to get a little momentum going, the Storm stopped them. A reminder that Sports Channel Ohio's coverage of the Crunch will continue next Sunday, March 25th at 6:30, when the Tacoma Stars take on the Crunch. That means Preki coming to town, one of the great players in the Major Indoor Soccer League. Tacoma playing better since they picked up a couple of players as well, Kia and Jerry Gray. That's Cleveland Crunch Soccer live on Sports Channel Ohio. We hope to see you out at that game. That's in Richfield, Ohio. The game coming up, the most immediate game for the Crunch, is this Sunday when the Red Hot Comets come in. They've won 9 of their last 10, including 4 in a row. They've got Dale Mitchell and Jan Goosens. Dowler and Gorsick have done well in goal this year. The Crunch meet the Comets. Great seats are still available. There's Don Popovic. He's into this game. He has the best winning percentage of any coach in the Major Indoor Soccer League, and he won 4 championships the first 4 years of the MISL. His New York Arrows teams were machines. They were unbeatable. One year, what was it, 36 or 35 and 6, something like that?
Oh, just name a few of the players. Steve Jungle, Rocco Sagoda, Clavijo was probably there towards the end of it.
But look at all those players he brought in that could play indoors. The Julie V's. Terlecki, I think, was brought in here originally by New York, but they couldn't sign him. Hey, he knew his players. He knew his talent. Theo Kulsdom on the bench taking off the warm-up jacket. We may see him soon. A reminder that this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of Summit Soccer Associates Incorporated and is intended for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Summit Soccer Associates Incorporated and Sports Channel Ohio is prohibited. Everybody getting back and ready to play as it's 6-2. St. Louis leading over Cleveland. The Crunch have had two nice goals by Marinaro and Karic, but the goals have been too few and too far in between as Hoskeby gives out some last-minute instructions and then goes back to his seat on the penalty bench area. 27 seconds left to go on his penalty. Kai was recently ejected out in Tacoma. He told me about that before the game. There was some controversy in that. First time as a player or a coach either that he was ever ejected, he told me, in his career. And you know what? It happened in Tacoma, and a week earlier, Bruce Savage was tossed out. Bruce Savage, one of the cleanest players in the league, and he was tossed out for some verbal abuse, I guess, if I read that correctly. But I'll tell you, when Bruce Savage gets tossed out, people around the league talk about that. But in Tacoma, maybe it's something in the water out there. Play is resumed. Cleveland has 16 seconds left to kill on the man advantage.
This certainly would be a step in the right direction for the Crunch to be able to kill off the rest of this penalty, but it's going to take more than that, obviously. They need to rev up some of this attacking power that they demonstrated just last night in that overtime victory over the Wichita Wings.
Hagen made a nice move on the boards, and then he paid for it. Hagen getting back up. He's strong in those corners. Still kicking away with Durant. Leite coming in. I'll tell you what he did, though. He killed about 8 to 10 seconds of that penalty, and now Hoskeby is ready to come out, and here he comes. He waited for Leite, and now it's you see it. Yeah, that was pretty intelligent on Hoskeby's part. He knew Leite wasn't expecting him to come out, figured he could come out and steal it. Here's a big shot from Eyes. Leite almost got free. Ferguson got a knock back at P.J. Johns.
I'm not sure if he meant it that way, but it ended up cradled well by P.J.
Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Here's Ferguson. I think they had a little conversation.
They were laughing about it, too.
Here's Terlecki. He has 3 to De Oliveira. Right back, and Hoskeby in a good spot to knock it away. Here comes Ferguson. Now upfield. Here's Marinaro. Across the way. Michael King over the line. Right footer is blocked. It comes straight out to Dargo. Then it takes a funny hop. Here comes Terlecki against Hoskeby. Great defensive stand by Hoskeby. All the way to the right side. Ferguson off the boards. Marinaro trying to settle it. There, Hoskeby with a real gutsy move there at midfield. He misses, and Terlecki's off to the races.
He had him lined up. He had even the steps timed out that Terlecki was taking.
Donegan in the right corner. Right across, nobody home for St. Louis. 6-2. Storm leading over the Crunch here as Terlecki gets it. Ferguson blocking him and the ball. Mocalis blocked. Here's Charlie Green. And a whistle. Handball? No, just a foul.
I think they're calling a handball on Green because when the ball first popped out to him, it looked to make some contact with either his shoulder or his arm.
Well, he pointed to the shoulder, so I thought maybe he had a foul. But it could have been a handball. In any event, the Crunch, that would have been exciting, though. They were 2-on-1 coming back. Here's Terlecki on the right foot, towing it to Donegan. Right back. Good idea from Donegan, but it was broken up. Out to Duran, who chested. Oh, great spinning move by Duran for Donegan. Right back. Oh, that would have been fitting for Duran to knock that one in.
That could have been highlight film footage there as Duran air dribbling people, flicking the ball on. He's been known to do that. In fact, he was actually recognized as scoring one of the all-time goals of the decade in the MISL. He lifts it once, lifts it again, trying to get it back. Donegan gets a piece of it, and Duran nearly on the end of it finally, but some nice work initially by Duran to avoid defenders by lifting the ball, juggling it in the air.
And when you said highlight film, I presume you meant the league highlight film. It would have been too good just for one team to have it. Here's Mocalis to Duran. Now it's Terlecki. 6-2. St. Louis leading it. 4:15 to go in the third. Cruncher on the move. They could use a score here. Marinaro. Donegan came from behind. Good play defensively by the rookie, and he'll get the ball. 3-on-2. Mepham hustling back. Terlecki playing back as a trailer. Here's Dragicevic. Pull the keeper out. The shot was wide. Terlecki coming back in the left. Tripped up by Mepham. Mepham's got to be careful. That's the second time he got Terlecki, and Stan's making a case for that. Probably saying it's the same guy. That's what he said, second time.
In Mepham's favor, he did get a piece of the ball as he wiped Terlecki out.
Here's Green knocking it back. Clavijo got a piece. Mepham banging off the glass. Yeah, Terlecki has taken a lot of hard knocks, but all the great scorers do. Tattoos, Jungle. They just get back up and score again against you. That's how they pay you back. They won't hit you back. like you hit them, because that's not their game, but they'll score on you. That is their game. And there's a foul called on Benny Dargle. There's Karic and Duran together again. Duran will play it. Knocked away. Slovo having to hustle back for it. A member of the MISL's all-decade team, Slovo, and deservedly so. He invented a new position back there in goal by coming out, being a part of the attack. Almost gave that one up to Sweeney. Duran, right side, to Gary Heel. And now off of Collins' touch. Here comes Heel. Heel, it's blocked. John's coming out. They must be paying the organ player by the note here, because he's still cranking up the tunes here in St. Louis. Here comes Sweeney. Knocked away. Terry Brown, good defensive play. He's got Heel in the open. Cuts it across. Now Ferguson catches up. Fredrickson on the overlap. Blocked by Johns. And now it's Terry Brown again. Outside Michael Collins. To Gary Heel. Heel already with 1 goal. That went in and out so fast that the goal judge never caught it. All the way back now to Fredrickson. Don't forget the Crunch back home Sunday against Kansas City. A 2:05 start. Great seats still available to watch the Crunch and one of the hottest teams in the MISL, the Comets. A chance, Cleveland fans, to see Karic and Hagen for the first time in Crunch uniforms.
And that is a 2:05 p.m. start at the Richfield Coliseum.
But I hope they get better weather than they had, what, a couple weeks ago, when half the team's staff couldn't make it. And I understand George Hoffman, the owner, did some public address announcing. I tell you, it was incredible. I understand that Dave Pellig, who's working with us here, had to stay all night at the Coliseum, but that's the best night's sleep he's had in some time, sleeping there. Ferguson now on the right side. 6-2. St. Louis leading over Cleveland. Karic against Duran, and Duran fouled him in a bad spot right in front of Casey Frankowitz. Free kick coming up here for Cleveland. Hagen going against Terry Brown. Waits for some movement, finds it in Dargle. Right-footed shot blocked. Hoskeby looking for a rebound that goes Heel's way. And as Hoskeby kicked in, they've got a foul, and Heel, for the second time tonight, will limp toward the bench. But the last time he did that, about 8 minutes later, he scored that great goal. Here's David Ives. Now some high pressure by Cleveland. Trying to turn it up a notch here defensively, hoping that that will lead to some score offensively. Hagen lost it. Looked like he had a good chance there. Here's Hagen. He makes that move well when he's game fit. Couple of stutter steps and he goes well to the right, but not that time. But he's been away from game action. Here's Brown's pass, knocked away, and that goes out of play with just 49 seconds left here in the third quarter of play, and the Storm are leading it by the score of 6-2. Crunch want to remind you that coming up, the National City Bank Cleveland Crunch soccer camps starting this June. Boys and girls will be able to learn from Kai and the pros, Michael King, Benny Dargle, and other Crunch players and coaches. You'll have a lot of fun at Cleveland Crunch soccer camps. For Crunch soccer camp information, call the Crunch at 349-2090 in Cleveland or 535-5425 in Akron. Those are your numbers. And your instructors are right there out on the field. Right now they're trailing here. 6-2, Marinaro and Karic are your Cleveland goal scorers. Terlecki has had a game with 3 goals, all in the first half. All nice ones, too. Leite's pass to De Oliveira. Around the boards, Leite got another whack. Collins scores!
Michael Collins, who's been scoring at a very regular pace as of late, was really just in the right place at the right time as that ball popped out for him. And again, the Cleveland Crunch defense just appears a bit flat-footed. Duran starts it off with the restart from the corner. Leite just keeps it alive, and De Oliveira is so good with his left foot, just tries to hammer it in. The ball pops out. It's Collins with the right foot. He just strikes it on the line drive into the opposite side of the net. We'll see it again here. And it's here where De Oliveira just hammers it off the boards. It takes some funny hops. The spin makes it difficult for P.J. Johns to try and hold it. and Collins just lodges it into that far side of the net.
Collins 15th of the year, but Collins, as you mentioned, has been on a streak since he's gotten back into the lineup. That's his 14th goal in the last 20 games. Lead pass Clavillo, and Johns with a good tackle to win it. Lost it though to UC, and he almost had a free shot. De Oliveira off the boards. Out to Leite. De Oliveira's second try. That's wider than the first. 6 seconds left. Tough goal though for the Crunch to give up at the end of the quarter as Clavillo's shot went upstairs. For one team, it's a big momentum booster. For the other side, it's a tremendous downer. It makes the job that much tougher.
Well, at this point, I think the Crunch are going to have to hope that St. Louis is able to do a similar job tomorrow night as the Storm head on to play those Wichita Wings that the Crunch are trying to catch.
Well, when you come down to this stage, you've got to do a lot of it for yourself, but then you need help as well. I think the best thing Cleveland did as they trail here 7-2 was that they won last night. That was the best thing for them because those are like 2-game swings. You win and you're preventing Wichita from winning. That's the horn-ending play in the third quarter. But again, every time that the Crunch look like they're coming back, the Storm come back and get a goal or two of their own. St. Louis leads 7-2 with one more quarter to go in St. Louis.
Everyone knows about my expansive vocabulary and the delineations I take with language. I went to electrocution school. So when I say the wrong thing at the right time, it's funny, but only because I'm in control. But if you're drinking and you start talking like me, then it's a good inclination that you're not in control, and that's not funny. You see, responsible drinking is as easy as knowing when to say the right thing at the right time, to know when to say when. And hey, even I could say that.
A reminder from Budweiser.
Hi, this is Pete McDonald inviting you to join me right here each week on Great Lakes Boater.
Joust believes to each according to his needs, from each according to his...
that sounds a little like Karl Marx. But
oh, just a touch. Is that real zebra skin? This.
I'll tell you right after. I'll tell you exactly where I got it from. It's a tremendous story.
Hey, all the slobs aren't quarterbacks. There are some slob reporters, too.
If you'll excuse me, fellas, I have to blow my nose.
Yeah, blow your nose. See if you hit him right between the eyes and see if that doesn't...
Dennis Rodman smiles through... He smiles when some guy kicks him in the groin.
Get to know one of the best teams in college basketball. Digger Phelps helps you keep pace with Notre Dame, introducing you to the team and taking you on the hardwood for every matchup. The Digger Phelps Show, Mondays at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, exclusively on Sports Channel America. Watch some of the best soccer players compete in one of the oldest soccer leagues in the world. Direct from Great Britain, it's English League Soccer. Rugged and exciting action every week on English League Soccer, only on Sports Channel America. Check your TV listings for days and times.
7-2, Storm are leading Cleveland, and right now warming up right in front of the Cleveland Crunch bench is Otto Orff, so they're going to make a goalkeeping change and give P.J. Johns a breather, and more than likely, unless Otto Orff does something that makes Kai Hoskeby change his mind Sunday, go with Otto Orff. But I think at this point in the season, Kai is pretty much committed to P.J. Johns down the stretch drive, although Orff has shown that he can play.
Well, again, we're going back to last night's game. Overtime win. P.J. Johns a big part of that. It's tough to ask him to come out and do that same kind of job again, and particularly when you think about some of the lack of support he's really gotten. There's a lot of loose balls there, and it's not just that they're always popping onto the foot of the St. Louis players. It's also when it does come to the St. Louis player, there's not a whole lot of Cleveland Crunch shirts around him.
I think mentally, it's a good move. It's a good move to get P.J. out of there, and a good move to get Otto Orff in, because, you know, those are the kind of games where Johns did his work last night, and tonight they're all struggling. So get him out, give him a chance to get a breather, look at it from a different perspective, and come back strong on Sunday.
Well, plus Otto could go out and really get some good work in, because he's probably going to see a few shots. I don't think St. Louis is going to slow it down much.
No.
They want to entertain their fans.
There's P.J. Johns chatting with Benny Dargle. Theo Coulsdom was out there, but now he's coming back towards the Crunch bench. Otto Orff is playing despite a sprained right toe. Comes in with a 4.29 goals against average and a 3-10 record. 7-2, St. Louis leading it. I told you before that in 4 of their previous games, only the first one was close. There were 3 others that were blowouts. And if you add up all the goals scored, St. Louis has outscored Cleveland this year 31-10. It just seems like they are one of the teams, St. Louis, that matches up so well with Cleveland. And by the same token, Baltimore matches up so well with St. Louis. Is it 5-0 or 6-0 for Baltimore against St. Louis? The Storm have not beaten them this year.
Well, the Crunch have had some good results with Baltimore themselves, so it's funny how those things work.
Clavel restarting to Usean. 7-2, St. Louis with 1 more quarter to go. And when this one's over, the Crunch can think about Sunday's game with Kansas City. They'll have a travel day tomorrow to get back to Ohio, where they'll face the Comets. The Comets have to go coast to coast. They're in San Diego tonight. We've not had any word on out-of-town scores.
It would still be a good weekend for the Crunch.
Saved by Otto Orff.
They could come up with wins against those important teams. Those are the teams right ahead of them in the Eastern Division standings, Wichita and Kansas City. So a big game then Sunday afternoon at the Richfield Coliseum at 2:05.
Well, when you look at the standings, there's not a lot that separates top to bottom in either division, really. So the races will go down, as a lot of people thought this year, with the parity right to the end. Here's Otto Orff clearing it ahead. Knocked back, Ferguson. And now McAllis. Looking for Usean, blocked by Reeves, right onto him, but there's a whistle. Casey Frankowitz says to play on. Here comes Hagen. Into the attacking zone, right side. Kulsdom, who's got that good right foot, blocked by Ilievsky.
Kulsdom has had some problems with that pulled abdominal muscle, just trying to work his way back in. He's been a bright spot as a newcomer to the league as well, especially early on in the season before he had the injury problems. A very versatile defender.
Here's Hoskeby. He wants his own pass, but Duran recognized it. Hoskeby will get it. Right in front and shooting it too high was Karic. Uncharacteristic of Karic. He knows it.
Well, Hoskeby did some great work to get the ball out to him using his strength on the ball.
Terlecki's shot, and that's blocked. Here comes Kulsdom. Kulsdom was looking very impressive, too, for Cleveland until he was hurt. He was just starting to grasp the indoor game and could have been a factor because the Cleveland defense, they had a lot of veterans, but if there was a knock on Cleveland's defense, it's that they didn't have the speed, and Kulsdom gave them that. And with players like James and Dargle and even Mepham staying back, it gave them somebody that would go forward.
Well, part of it is to have some depth as well. You've got Reeves out there, a rookie and a first-year professional. A player like Kulsdom is new to the league, but he's been a professional for several years. There is a difference there. And one of the problems that the Cleveland Crunch did have this year is when the injuries hit, they didn't have much depth to back themselves up. We've got the stats here. Third quarter so far, the Storm out shooting the Crunch 35-12, and that's pretty much been the story. The saves, you see P.J. Johns 19, and well, I guess Otto Orff helping him too.
Orff had to be busy because he was given a gift right back, or St. Louis almost gave Usean a gift with Kozio's pass back. There's Fredrickson. But you know, as you said earlier, St. Louis is still going to be coming, so Orff has got to be mentally sharp. Coming back, here's Terry Brown. Brown played locally here at college. University of Missouri, St. Louis, and Merrimack. Broken up, and a foul is going to be called. This one goes against Terry Brown. A reminder to Crunch fans to check the Stop and Go ad in your local newspaper on March 22nd and 29th for the 2-for-1 coupon, good for the April 1st game when Cleveland takes on the same St. Louis team. And those 2-for-1 coupons that were so popular with the Cleveland Force are starting to come back. So get in touch with the Cleveland Crunch office, their sales office, group tickets, and they'll be glad to help you with all of that information on the 2-for-1 coupons and other special nights coming up in Richfield. Foul is going to be called there on Cleveland. Sweeney, who got the worst of that, is Michael Collins.
He hammered Collins pretty hard. Then when Sweeney went down, he appears to maybe have sprained his wrist a little bit.
Here's Collins, all the way across to Eyes. King, and now it's knocked all the way back to Ilievsky. I got to think that last night's physical play took a lot out of this Cleveland team as the foul is called on Mepham. We're seeing some frustration fouls now here too, and a penalty. S.C. Baharmas has got something. He was looking Marinaro's way, so maybe it's for a little lip service. He's been tossed out. He has been tossed out, and he's still trying to get his money's worth. because there's a fine that goes with that.
Well, it may cost him some more if he keeps at it.
Well, I didn't see where that came from, nor do I know if it was directed at Essie, at least originally, because that was not his call. Let's look.
Well, as you said, frustration here. Mepham reaching around. Terry Brown tackling from behind, but getting the ball. And I think it's Marinero who's claiming that Mepham played the ball fairly. He must have had something very strong to say about the call and to referee Essie Baharmas.
Mike Sweeney goes over as the captain to find out what happened. What has happened, though, is that Marinaro has been ejected from the game. So the Crunch will do the next 12-12 without Marinaro. 7-2. St. Louis leading this one as Essie Baharmas goes over to talk to the other official in the box and explain the situation. So while Essie does that, while he talks it over there, we'll give you a chance to talk things over too as we go to break. 7-2 St. Louis with 12-12 left.
Facsimile. Again, technology is revolutionizing our business environment. Today, information can be delivered within seconds at a cost you can finally afford. Canex, Cleveland's oldest Canon facsimile dealer, can put the power of facsimile to work for you with the plain paper fully featured laser-driven Faxel 920, the plain paper Fax 350, or the personal Fax 120. Have Canex put the power of Canon facsimile in your hands. Call Canex for your free demonstration.
Well, St. Louis seems to have Cleveland's number this year. 7-2 is the score in this one. Crunch will be back in action Sunday, home against Kansas City. Plenty of good tickets still available for that if you'd like to make your way out to the Richfield Coliseum and watch Cleveland and Kansas City, whereas St. Louis will hit the road. They're going to go to Wichita, and I know that the Crunch have a definite team that they're rooting for there, and it's definitely St. Louis.
Yeah, they may not want to dish out too much of this physical play if they want St. Louis to do a job for them tomorrow night on St. Patty's Day as the Storm do take on the Wichita Wings. But things just recently here in this game getting a little bit ugly.
Coming back now. It's played over on the right side to Hagen, and there's a collision there. Here's the time of the game where if you can, for both coaches actually, you like to bring in other players, but on St. Louis's side, they've seen games, other clubs have seen games where teams have made comebacks, so you don't want to break up any rhythm and momentum and see quick goals come back the other way.
Well, 5 goals is not insurmountable, but the Crunch is certainly going to have to play better than they have up to this point.
Sure. I mean, things are going St. Louis's way, and it looks like their game, but I'm saying if you're Don Popovic, you can't afford to take out a lot of your great players because 2 goals would change this game.
Oh, exactly. I don't see it happening now, but it could.
Here's King on his cut. Broken up. I started to get a sinking feeling on Terlecki's 3rd goal, actually. That's going way back. But still, Cleveland has had their chances. They just were unable to capitalize, and then, when they didn't capitalize, then some real bad marking defensively cost them. They were caught flat-footed or standing around, whichever term you want, and Johns was really the target in the shooting gallery. Here's McAllis. He's had some great years with San Diego and Los Angeles. He played on Los Angeles and played well when they had bad teams. McAllis did. He was one of the lone bright spots in the early days. He and Poli Garcia. All the way across, it's blocked by Ferguson. And now Mike Sweeney takes it. 7 minutes in penalties, we're told, to Marinaro for that last outburst. Coming back now, it's Ferguson. 7-2, St. Louis. 10:39 to go. Played up on the left wing side for Karic. Karic on a spin. Cutting back off the boards, and Duran will clear it out. Cleveland will have the ball possession.
Obviously, it's worth noting that despite the fact that Marinero had 7 minutes of penalties, been red carded, the Crunch do not play a man short. We are at even sides here, and that's a little bit different approach to the rule than they had in the past, but it's a situation where they want to be able to deal effectively with the player who's causing the problem and not necessarily disrupt the entire game because of it.
That's right. In the past, if you were given an unsportsmanlike penalty, it's an automatic 2 and you were shorthanded. Karic, give and go from Haskavy. Donegan blocked it and then paid for it as Haskavy nailed it. Pulls them, bringing it all the way back, knocking it back to the feet of Otto Orr. Remember, Orff is playing despite the sprained right toe. Haskovic bringing it back. 3 goals last night for the player coach of the Crunch. Trying to do what so few have done with success in the MISL, play and coach. There's been a few that have tried it. Alan Mayer, Horst Bertel, Shep Messing a little bit. And Haskovic would love to be a lot more successful than the 3 names I just mentioned. All good players in their own right, but they found the task difficult. And here, he's got an expansion team, which is really what Alan Mayer had, I believe, that first year with Las Vegas, but he loaded that team, or maybe he didn't, but a general manager did, with a lot of veterans. And a lot of them came from San Diego that year.
And he loaded them with maybe too many egos for a first-year coach to deal with it.
They led the league that year in egos, I think, according to the latest statistics. Haskovic will take it now. Coulson will leave it off. Here's Mepham on the run. 7-2, Cruncher down. Good idea by Mepham, but he couldn't find King at the far post. And a whistle sounds on the handball call. Restart coming up for Cleveland. Mepham right across. Kozio misfires, and speaking of misfiring, Michael King just got underneath that one on the wrong side. And that one went upstairs. So it's been a rough night for Michael King and the Crunch. Crunch fans, tomorrow from 11 to 1, you can meet Bernie James and Sean Phillips at the Rolling Acres Mall in Akron. Get a chance to get some autographs and meet 2 members of the Cleveland Crunch. Neither player, obviously, on this trip. Crunch missed Bernie James, I think, tonight, but they might have needed 3 or 4 Bernies and some other players because St. Louis really played well.
They really could have used, let's say, a night like we've seen from Michael King this season. He's had a tremendous season, and it's very obvious the effects he must be feeling from last night's game.
Well, you know, the King is getting a pounding this year because teams are playing him. In the past, he didn't get that much attention, but because of what he's done, he's gotten that respect. Here's Yusian. Otto Orff made a great save. He had been coming out earlier when Cleveland had the ball and had to retreat. Charlie Green's pass broken up by Fredrickson.
But going back to King, he just hasn't shown much tonight, and every time I've seen the Crunch play this year, he's gotten shots off. Maybe they didn't all go in, but he's been peppering the goal, and he's got such a heavy shot with either foot. We've not seen it tonight.
Jeff Reeves with Yusian. Leite's wide open. Yusian doesn't see him. Now he's being held. Shot it across, but there's Otto Orff, and Yusian has a legitimate beat.
Well, he wanted to foul, but they were allowing him to keep the advantage as he continued to make progress, even though he was being held.
Did you see the official give the advantage? Because I wasn't looking at that. If he did, then that's fine. That's so controversial. A lot of fans hate that. A lot of players hate that. Because, as you've said on many a telecast, you've got to make that call.
It's a snap
quick
judgment.
Yeah,
it is.
And you don't know that the player that you think has gotten by is going to trip and fall, or the other way around.
You don't know how it's going to pan out. You would need a crystal ball, really, to call all of them correctly.
So it is a tough call. Here comes Ferguson over midfield. Now to Coulson. All the way back. Otto Orff. Upfield, knocked away. Now it's Yusian. Broken up by Haskovic. Terry Brown knocking it back to Fredrickson. Storm trying to space themselves out of this big arena carpet. Here comes Clavijo to Terry Brown. All the way back out to Daryl Durant. When a team is fatigued, you'll notice it a lot more on defense. Everybody would love to get their points, their goals, and run forward. It's a lot more exciting. But defensively is where it suffers. And unfortunately, if you're a goalkeeper, you'll notice it more because you'll see more of the breakaways and the 2-on-1s and the bad bounces.
It's always uphill when you're sprinting towards your own goal.
Mepham coming back. And right about now, the legs get heavy. You're down by 5 with 7 minutes to go. Haskovic. Right side of the field. Collins defending it. Lifted by Haskovic towards Mepham.
Mepham making the type of run that the St. Louis team has been so successful with tonight, all the way around the backside, in behind the defenders. But Haskovic couldn't quite get it over to him.
Otto Orff and Karic play with it. Karic coming back. I think Cleveland fans are really going to like Karic and Hagen, especially when they get more used to their teammates and become more a part of the Crunch team. Karic has already shown some great stuff tonight. Here's Mepham in its block. Karic had a great goal earlier with a couple of nice spinning moves. Karic with it. Right-footed pass. He wanted Kozio, but it was just wide of him. Joey Kozio started the year injured and has not had a lot of playing time this year, but one of many talented players to come out of the collegiate ranks over the last few years. Mepham behind Coulson. And now Cleveland's just out of sync. Here's Mepham shooting it wide. Karic with a chance. Ilieski with a save, and then it goes in. I thought off Terry Brown. Karic will get the goal, but that was an awkward goal.
No, that one won't win any prizes for beauty, although there may be some justice to it, as Cleveland had sustained quite a bit of possession. They've had their chances. Karic missed earlier when Hoskby set him up beautifully. This time here, it's Mepham shooting wide. Karic follows it up, but he mishits it. It also hits off of Duran, Brown, and Sloboljevski before it follows its way all the way in. Hoskby's there just to make sure, but Karic kind of smirking because he mishits this ball. You see him, he hits the top of it, just overcompensating there on the bounce, and that top spin, and maybe it may have been part of what fooled Terry Brown as he tried to clear it.
Looked like on the replay, maybe 4 people, as many as 4, could have touched that one. Karic with his 24th, 7-3, St. Louis by 4. You're watching Cleveland Crunch Soccer here on Sports Channel Ohio.
The key to great sports is great sports coverage, and no channel covers Ohio better than Sports Channel Ohio, designed to bring Ohio sports right into your living room. Down to the buzzer, right to the playoff action of the Cavs, the fast-pitching, power-hitting drive of the Indians, the start-to-finish magic of the Crunch, the ongoing hard-driving competition of the Mid-American Conference, and the crowd-pleasing battles of Ohio high school sports. All there, all on one channel, the channel made for Ohio, Sports Channel Ohio. But sports coverage on your channel doesn't stop there. Sports Channel Ohio also brings you the best of the NHL and Notre Dame. All there, all on your channel, Sports Channel Ohio.
Welcome back, everyone. We're live here in St. Louis at the arena. John Paul Della Camera with Ty Keel. 7-3 is your score. St. Louis over the Cleveland Crunch. Dave Pellig helping us out tonight on stats. Appreciate the help. Here's Clavillo coming back now to the right side to Collins. To midfield. Michael Collins leading this attack for St. Louis. Terlecki has scored 3 goals if you just joined us. Karic with a couple. Marinaro 1 for the Crunch. Marinaro also tossed out.
We've not seen Terlecki either since that collision with Mepham.
Here is Leite. And Hagen breaks that up. Otto Orff, who came in relief of P.J. Johns. Marinaro got the misconduct called and was given a red card by S.E. Bahamas after a foul had been called on Mepham. Left side, Marcio Leite. Back to Clavijo. All the way into Otto Orff. He sends a gun up for Karic, and he just shot it wide. That's a great pass from Otto Orff. Hagen into the boards with Duran, and Duran came out. And now it's knocked out by Drew Ferguson. Well, what a toss from Otto Orff. That's where your goalkeeper can be a big help. Karic has had a couple of goals tonight, but we've seen him miss in a couple where normally he just buries it. And he'll score a lot of goals for this Crunch team. He'll also get a lot of playing time, but he'll deserve it. Talking to Casey Frankowitz about something.
About Duran, no doubt.
Probably. Probably.
Boy, these guys have really been going at it.
I said this before. Duran has really made quite a transition from a midfielder where he did do a lot of scoring, maybe not as many goals as he did before, but goals and a lot of assists. Carried the ball a lot, and he's come back and he's blocked over 50 shots this year at the back and has done some great marking.
Well, he's an intelligent player. He's very strong around the ball, so he can do the job in the back. There's no doubt about it. Plus, he can go forward.
There's Leite to De Oliveira. Karic trying to give it back, and there's Donegan saying thank you. Hoskby tripped up by Leite. Hoskby quickly puts it in play, and he'll get it right back. Here comes Kai, 3rd all-time scorer in the MISL. And now it is Duran coming back, 4 to go. 7-3. Storm up by 4 with 4 to play. Hagen. Crowd wanting some penalties or some fouls called. Here comes Hoskby. Leite on him. Played up. Here's Karic wanting to turn on Frederiksen, who made the block. And now it's De Oliveira. to Dan Donegan. Donegan always in the running for the Herman Trophy when he played at UConn 3 years in a row. Up for the Oliveira. Down to the right side. Here's Fredrickson. Terlecki. Block. Looking. Lifting. To Donegan. Heads it right back. That was a pass, or so it appeared. Now it's Terlecki again against two. To Dragicevic. Off the boards. Orff missed it, but Ferguson is there. And now on to Orff, who backed up Nogueira last year when Toth was injured. That hit a run on the boards, to say the least. Turns into a great pass for St. Louis. Right side, Dragicevic. But nothing there on the shot, and Orff is right there. 3 minutes to go in the game. 7-3 Storm over Cleveland. Cleveland will be back home on Sunday. Here's a steal. You see it with Terlecki. Looking for his fourth of the night. Terlecki's pass. You see it off the post.
Unselfishly, Terlecki put it over to Yusein. Yusein had quite a bit of goal to shoot at and caught the corner of the post.
David Eyes back for it. This is a St. Louis team that scored 7 goals tonight without Ingram playing, who's been their top scorer all year until he was hurt. Gary Heel playing with an injury and has not played as much tonight, but he had 1 goal. But Terlecki with 3 goals, that's been a big story offensively for St. Louis, and he did that all in the first half. Coming back now, Kozio. Right side, King. That's his first bit of daylight tonight. Trying to play it across, blocked by Clavijo. You see it. Look at the Storm. They've got numbers. 3-on-1, Dragicevic. Kozio hustling back. Terlecki to Yusein. He tried to dummy it for Dragicevic, who was nailed by Michael King. King got a piece of him. And S.E. Bahamas just has a couple of words there. That's awful close to 2 minutes. I think it is 2.
Just a little stiff arm, too, as he was going after he was already past him. Came around and caught him in the face with it. So
that's either a penalty or bad acting by Dragicevic. The way his head goes back, I don't think he's faking.
No, it snapped it back pretty well.
Here's Green coming back with 1:45 to go. Charlie Green played last year in the AISA with Hershey as a player assistant coach to Nicky Nicholas, the former Kansas City assistant coach. Tony Glavin, a Comets assistant coach, scouting this game. No doubt to report back to Dave Clements, because that's who's playing Cleveland on Sunday. Mepham got by Terlecki, and they're even. Terlecki will wait till he sees there's a penalty on him. Right there. Let the picture tell the story, that's all. What is it? A picture's worth 1,000 words.
Well,
he's saying I got nailed twice.
Well, he got nailed more than twice, but
well, twice big time.
He did get Mepham pretty obviously here. Mepham, a nice move. He's gone. Terlecki reaches late and takes him out, and it's really because he takes away this advantage that Mepham has really gotten on the good dribble, and he can't believe it. His main consolation is when he looks up at the scoreboard. It's not going to make much difference in this game, most likely, but he has no chance for the ball. He's going entirely for Mepham, and he's trying to kill the play, which he does, but he should be punished for it.
Well, the difference in that is he sticks out his leg, and it's not a violent trip. He's been whacked a few times.
No, he's not out to wallop anybody. He's just trying to stop the play from developing any further.
That's why he was looking at that differently. Hagen off the boards, but Slobo's right there. Power play here and a chance for Cleveland to narrow the gap. Last night they were 3 for 5 in the power play against Wichita. Marinaro had a couple and Haskeby had 1. Power play brought their percentage up from 28% to 32 overnight. Karic. Storm's second best penalty killing unit in the MISL, second to Cleveland. Karic, a right foot save. Slobo just toe poked it away. Would not give Ferguson the rebound. On the throw. Karic back for it. Nice job to swing it up to Hagen, although he confused Orff a little bit. Karic to midfield, slowing things down. 38 seconds, all that's left here. Separating a Storm from a win, and Karic's shot deflected in. I'll tell you, even some of the St. Louis players are laughing at that. Slobo won't laugh because that goes against his average.
Exactly.
But look at Karic. He's had 2 gift ones like that.
For Ilievsky, that's a difference between lowering his goals against average and raising it. Karic, he's almost taking a breather as he brings the ball down here. Just decides to crack it. Not that much on it even. He may have been looking for Ferguson actually down near the goal. Instead, it deflects off of Michael Collins. And Ilievsky struggles with the change of direction. There it is, just hitting it low and hard with the outside of his foot. The spin also helps carry it in behind Ilievsky. Hoskeby right there. He says something to Ilievsky. I would like to have heard that.
I'm going to say this before you get credit for it. I think Karic is a great player, but I will say that this has been the ugliest hat trick I've ever seen. He has 3 goals tonight. The last 2 were ones that he won't write home about, but they all count. Unfortunately for Cleveland, they couldn't get enough of those tonight, and they're going to lose this one. They're down 7-4, but Wayne Gretzky used to say, you know, if you don't shoot, you don't score. Karic looked like he was taking a little bit of a breather, but he just shoots it in, and something will happen if you can put it towards net.
He doesn't have much to lose at this point in the game, so he just hit it and it went his way. He gets the hat trick. As you said, not as pretty of a hat trick as Terlecki, and also not as constructive of a hat trick as Terlecki's, because the Crunch will come out of here with an L, whereas the St. Louis Storm will come out with a W.
In 5 seconds, the Storm will have the win. Ilievsky with a save, almost at the horn. That's it. Big night for St. Louis. They've had trouble at home, but not tonight. St. Louis has defeated Cleveland by the score of 7-4 here at the arena in St. Louis.
$2,000,004.